Saturdays at 9:30 on Fox 8. Sports fans, watch me, Referee Rich, this week on The Zone. You will not see another sports show anywhere on television like this one. Presented by Roundhouse Harley-Davidson and Roundhouse Power Sports. Friday night after Fox 8 News at 10. Attention home buyers, a Snare & Associates mortgage pre-approval gives sellers and realtors confidence in your ability to purchase their home. We specialize in first-time home buyer loans, FHA loans, VA loans, USDA no-money down loans, conventional loans, and so much more. Our experienced loan originators will get you pre-approved within minutes. That's right, within minutes. Our process is free, it's quick, it's easy. So visit us on the web, give us a call, or stop by our office in historic Hollingsburg to get your mortgage pre-approval today. Snare & Associates. Cleveland's Home Furnishings wants to give you a $3,000 stressless furniture shopping spree.
Stressless, the innovators of comfort.
Come discover the stressless difference of Cleveland's Home Furnishings today.
Go online to fox8tv.com and register for your chance to win. And come into Cleveland's Home Furnishings and ask how you can get additional chances to win. The Stressless Furniture Shopping Spree. Brought to you by Cleveland's Home Furnishings and Fox 8. For news, giveaways, and more, like us on Facebook. Harper's, a downtown State College tradition since 1926.
Before we begin, I want to say thank you. One, for tuning in and watching my college football Maryland at Penn State live watch long reactions live right here on YouTube. But thank you to any current, former, or future United States military men and women for your service. Thank you. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, thank you for your service. Coming up shortly on Fox, we'll have Maryland and Penn State in a mid-November, as it is Veterans Day weekend. Once again, thank you once again for tuning in and watching, but thank you to United States military for what you do. Thank you for your service. Maryland and Penn State on Fox in the Big Ten, in the Big Ten East. We've got a couple pivotal Big Ten West showdowns going on right now as well and coming up shortly. But we'll have live watch-along reactions live here on YouTube, as we always do with the blue and white Penn State Nittany Lions, as they're back home for the first time in 2 weeks, looking to win their first home game in 3 weeks, taking on the 6-3 Terps from College Park, coming up shortly with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman on the call, 3:30 Eastern kick on Fox once again, with rain in the forecast once again, as literally yesterday it downpoured from dawn to dusk, with the hurricane turned tropical storm that came up the coast, and Happy Valley with a lot of rain. We'll see how, field is condition-wise, as for whatever reason Fox takes us back to recap the Big Noon game with the Big Noon Saturday crew, as Ohio State defeated Indiana, but we should be getting to Happy Valley here in a split second, right here at your stadium, Maryland, Penn State. If Penn State can run the football today, I think they'd be okay. Wisconsin ran all over Maryland last week, so of course, second home rain game this year for Penn State. It was low-scoring defense showdown, a lot of running the football, but then a ton of turnovers as well when they defeated Northwestern last month, 17-7. So Penn State is a 10.5-point favorite. Over/under is about 56, 57. So, we'll see what it gives us. As always, I'm sure something will. But, yeah, what the hell? It's 3:30. Take us to Maryland, Penn State, rather than recap this, unless they're having some technical difficulties of some sorts. Unless Fox is going to take us right into an aerial shot and then kickoff. But yeah, we watched a little bit of this early and then a little bit of it late, of course, turning on Fox right before Maryland Penn State kicks off here. But we had Rutgers Michigan State on just because Penn State, that is in fact their next two opponents to end the regular season before bowl season or bowl game. But with ESPN, it was LSU at Arkansas in the Battle of the Boot, and the Tigers, after a big double overtime win, or excuse me, a big overtime win, going for two, and the win at home from Baton Rouge down Death Valley last Saturday night against the Crimson Tide Alabama, handing Nick Saban his second road loss on the final play of the game this year. Alabama, Ole Miss coming up shortly on CBS. You think about it, Alabama, could have a good, 4 losses right now. You think about it, with a couple other close games that they've, found a way to win those. But they go to Ole Miss today. We'll see what happens there. LSU still controls their own destiny in SC West, though. And Tennessee coming off a loss at Georgia. They're going to need some help, but they're going to beat Missouri today. So, yeah, like I said, as we're about 7 minutes or so away from kickoff from Maryland and Penn State. On Fox, we were watching a little bit of Ohio State, Indiana, along with Rutgers, Michigan State, but OHIO, the Buckeyes blow out Indiana just like Penn State did last Saturday. So yeah, a little early, a little late with Indiana, Ohio State, but for the most part I was watching Michigan State, Indiana, along with LSU at Arkansas. They hung on to win on the road against the Hogs, 13-10, after, as mentioned, once again, a big home overtime win last Saturday night against Alabama, going for 2 in the win. So they rose in the college football playoff rankings, just as Penn State did as well, now 14th in the country. But turned CBS on. Tennessee going to beat Missouri. Got Ole Miss, Alabama coming up shortly. As mentioned with the Big Ten East, talk about the Big Ten West. A couple big, as Minnesota is playing Northwestern today. Them, along with, as they're 6-3, Illinois is in the lead, but they're down right now by 7. If they shit the bed, things could get interesting, as they lost last week and they're losing right now by 7, and they're going to try to get the ball back. But Illinois at the top of the Big Ten West. You got Minnesota at 6-3, along with Purdue, Iowa, and Wisconsin, and those latter two play each other shortly. As West Virginia comes back and wins by 3 at home, 23-20 over Oklahoma. Coming up shortly on FS1 will be the Wisconsin-Iowa game. As the Blue Buses arrive, Penn State arrives at Beaver Stadium. Got a Big Ten East battle with Maryland and Penn State. The Nittany Lions, for the most part, own the series, 41-3-1. 2 of those 3 losses, though, have come in the past decade after Maryland joined the Big Ten, and they've both come right here in Happy Valley at Beaver Stadium. Okay. Show off the weather, yeah, about 50. It's gonna rain, as it did all day yesterday. So we'll see, as Penn State will take the field here. The red, the white, the blue, as they ring the bell. Penn State, yeah, sitting at 7-2 right now. Arguably, no doubt about it, have a good chance to win out, to get a 10-win season, and then some. So, as, subpar at times as it's been past couple years, Penn State's still right there in the thick of it. If they can only get over that hump that we've talked about before. as the student section continues to file in. You know, the season ticket holders are in full effect. Yep, State College, the third largest city on a Penn State home football weekend, just behind Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, respectively. Yeah, talk about the injuries. Yeah, especially up front. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, Tangwell's done for the year now. Norzad, we'll see if he plays. He announced this past week, though, he's coming back next year. So they'll, you know, continue to have depth and experience in all fronts. But as it starts up front, no doubt about it, you got to be able to block around the ball. Like I said, if Penn State can run the football today, I think they should be okay. But they're going to have to continue to get pressure coming off the edge. And just, you know, for the most part, the whole entire defense with Manny Diaz calling the shots on that side of the ball now, taking over for Brent Pry after he was fired by Miami. Pry takes over Virginia Tech. James Franklin hires Manny Diaz. Yursich still, of course, the OC. Franklin in his 9th year this year. Has only lost to Maryland twice. And it was in his first year in 14 and 2 years ago in the COVID year in 2020. And from what I can recall then, in a November matchup as well, I might add. Penn State defensively really couldn't cover. Tua's younger brother in Tulia, who's returning from an injury, I might add, picked them apart. Turnovers were big that afternoon as well. Could have been a hell of a lot closer than what it was, but, you know, Penn State, you know, continued to, you know, start the season winless and then 0-5 before they won 4 straight. Last year, 5-0 start, lost 6 of 8 down the stretch, 5-0 again. This year, lost one last week. So they sit at 7-2 right now, with Maryland at 6-3. So both teams going to be going to bowl games, but Penn State with Maryland, at Rutgers, Michigan State. As mentioned, one of the reasons why I was watching that Rutgers-Michigan State game, you know, next to opponents for blue and white, you know, just to scout, if you will, a little bit, you know, even though I've seen them a few times already this year, just, you know, come down the stretch, you know, hopefully you're playing your best ball right now. But defensively, if they can force pressure, create turnovers, capitalize off the turnovers, along with, as mentioned on offense, running the football, they'll be all right. Sean Clifford, he can become the all-time leading passer in Penn State football history today, I might add, as well. So we'll see how long that's going to take. As it ain't much, less than 100 yards, but yeah, Maryland, Penn State coming up shortly. You know, we'll see what it gives, but still should be a good game. You know, a couple common opponents as in conference, the wins Maryland has at 6-3 and then 3-3 in the Big Ten. Penn State hasn't played Michigan State yet. Land Grant Trophy in 2 weeks. But the other two, as Maryland beat both Northwestern and Indiana, Penn State also did the same. Okay, rain game, Penn State only beat Northwestern Wildcats by 10. But Penn State blew out Indiana last week for the most part, clicking on all cylinders as well. Whereas Maryland went to Bloomington and only won by 5. So take that for what it's worth. Of course, every game is going to be different. That's why the games are, in fact, played. That sucks. Joey Porter Jr. is out with an injury today as they show off the Big Ten standings. Like I was saying about the Big Ten West, it could get interesting depending on what happens. So we'll get more into all that in a minute, but got Maryland and Penn State coming up live right now. So thank you for tuning in and watching. As always, I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Co-and Luke 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. The thumbs up button. Share hashtag college football, hashtag Maryland, hashtag Penn State, hashtag MD versus PSU for Maryland versus Penn State. Chat questions and comments, super chat, super stickers, super likes, and super thanks. Always great appreciated as well. Penn State kicks off right to left. Maryland on the return. And they are wearing their old school Terps helmets as they return it out past 10 to see officially where they spotted at around 15-20 yard line, it looks like. But there is Tulia Tungalovoa, Tua's younger brother, as mentioned, coming off an injury. Did play last week, but even though they got ran all over by Wisconsin, he didn't honestly play that great compared to how he's played, prior to the injury. From the 11-yard line, officially 1st and 10 for Maryland. They'll start out of the gun and fake the give over the middle, high, incomplete. Jair Brown, he would have been a step or two faster. He might have had a pick. But talk about the pressure. You got to get to them, make them make mistakes, create turnovers, capitalize on it, Penn State defensively, just get stops, get the hell off the field. They had a program record last week with 16 tackles for loss, which is a little hard to believe in Penn State's historic program history. 2nd and 10, they hand off for about 2, maybe 3 yards. Big third down here for Maryland, 20 seconds in. So not a good start for them. Penn State's defense playing good. As you can see, the rain fall. And, of course, these two teams used to play all the damn time. But then Penn State joined the Big Ten. That went away. Maryland then joined the Big Ten. It's back every year. And still, for the most part, Penn State's owned the series. As mentioned, 43-3. Or 41-3-1, excuse me. And the past two have been flipped. 1 win apiece. They take them down on the sack, back of the 5-yard line. Zane Durant, 28, true freshman from Florida. Maryland with a 4th and long, and they'll punt. Penn State will get the ball here, so see what they can do in the return game. But, yeah. Pressure, and 11, Abdul Carter almost took him down, but then Durant right there. PW back deep to receive. Maryland from the back of the goal line. On the punt, almost blocked. Penn State on the return from 45. And really nowhere to go. So they'll set up shop there. 1st and 10. 13-20 to play in this opening quarter to begin their side of the ball. So Clifford in at quarterback. Singleton getting the start, tailback today. Kevon Lee's been banged up, but 2 true freshmen, Singleton and the fat man, Katron Allen. I mean, just keep pounding the rock, 1-2 punch, and then you got playmakers at receiver, and hopefully get the tight ends involved. But it still starts up front, yeah, no doubt about it. Been banged up, but Norzad, good block. He is playing. Handoff Singleton, low to the shoulder, and he gets to about the 38-yard line. So about a 6, maybe 7-yard gain. 2nd and short here for Penn State to begin the game. And keep running it. Run it down their fucking throat. And then you beat them deep on the play action. And hopefully the tight ends are there. Talk about Theo Johnson, Brenton Strange. Tyler Warren saw Dinkins last week as well. Lambert Smith on a little toss on an end around. He gets a Penn State 1st down. So that'll go down as a pass for Clifford. But they'll move the sticks in a 1st and 10. So, James Franklin, a former Maryland assistant, going up against Mike Loxley, who's sort of, when Maryland, of course, joined the Big Ten, coming from the ACC really wasn't going in the way they wished it would have. He's sort of got the, ship on track, if you will. Clifford going to go deep and a little too much incomplete, 10 for Parker Washington. So make it 2nd and 10. He took a shot, a little slow to get up. Boos from the crowd for no flag on a potential late hit. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know why they didn't throw a flag on that, because that's a clean hit or a late hit, depending on who you ask. So, no flag. They're letting them play. It is what it is. Out of the pistol, 2nd and 10. So, just play on. Play through it. Forget about it. And they'll hand off again, Singleton. And he gets 2 yards. So, 3rd and 8, so they do get a first down, but the drive's starting to stall now. I mean, hell, at least they are in field goal range, but they've had kicking issues with Jake Pinniger this year, so we'll see if they can get them a little bit more breathing room here, if you will. If they don't get a first down, but get a first down, continue to drive, get inside the red zone. Hopefully you can punch it in then for 6, but we'll see here what they do. Maryland subbing a few guys on defense. So out of the gun, got Parker Washington, Mitchell Tinsley, and a tight end, it looks like, in Brenton Strange, and it is 86 on the reception and the Penn State first down. Yeah, took the receiver on a go route, DB bit, and wide open in the flat far side, Strange, who was lined up on the line. As a fake the give, Singleton with a good block on some pass pro, and then Penn State gets a first down. So drive continues, 1st and 10, ball at the 19, so they enter the red zone here. And why not a shot over the middle? I mean, they did go deep, didn't execute it, but they do hand off, which I don't mind. A little sweep for 3, maybe 4 yards to the far side. 2nd down and about 6. So Clifford now has surpassed Trace McSorley, who had surpassed Christian Hackenberg. Those are your top 3 leaders in Penn State football history for all-time passing yards. So Sean Clifford is now the all-time leading passer in Penn State football history. Congratulations. 2nd and 6 from the 16. I mean, Penn State honestly, isn't a quarterback school though. So 9,903 yards, I believe they said. Johnson in motion. And they'll hand off again. Some good blocks. Another Penn State first down. 1st and goal down to 4. You got to punch this in now. You can't settle for 3. You got to punch it in. Keep running it. Under 10 to play. Give it right back to him. Yeah, good blocking up front. Regardless, still it's next man up with all the injuries. That's why you have as many guys as you have on scholarship, let alone walk-ons. You got to fill spots and hit the hole and go. And Singleton's done that a few times on this drive. Now they hand off to him again. It'll be 2nd and goal from about 3. So got to punch it in. It looks like Chocolate Thunder's kid's starting at left tackle today. Dawkins, 66. Norzad's at left guard. You got Juice at center. And then as Clifford rolls out, comes back and caught. Touchdown. Brenton Strange, touchdown Penn State. So they do get the tight ends involved here a little bit on this drive, and they drive about 45, 50 yards and score the opening touchdown, 6-0 Penn State. 8:52 to play in the first quarter here. As Maryland went 3 and out, yeah, just a simple play action. He stood and waited until he had to pop, pick and roll basically, and Clifford hit him for 6, and Penn State leads at 6, make it 7 here, hopefully with the extra point up and good. As Maryland brought their band, I see. Extra point up and good, 7-0 Penn State. So then on the right side, you got Wormley and then Bryce Effner. So, I mean, honestly, you're just missing Tangwell. He's done for the year with an injury. Caden Wallace as well, and Olu, 74. But they're, still hope that, they can continue to return and play once again this year. So, yeah, regardless of the injuries, it's still next man up mentality. So It looks like I said, across the board, left to right, you got 66, 64, 70, 77, and 72 on the offensive line. With, of course, Clifford at quarterback. Singleton got the start at tailback today. So we'll see, carry-wise, what they do. Series 1, maybe 2 in a row, or if they're going to split it. Of course, with Katron Allen, who was the first Penn State freshman running back since Austin Scott in 2003 to have 3 rushing touchdowns in a single game. And then, like I said, they have the playmakers at receiver. And if they get the tight ends involved, which they did on that drive, just keep it balanced, keep it consistent, okay? Find a running game. They did for the most part on that drive. And then they, beat them with some play action and the touchdown. So 7-0 Penn State here. Midway through the opening quarter, Maryland went 3 and out. Penn State drove about half the field and say about 8-play drive. Got a couple first downs and big third down. They converted, drive stayed alive, and then they punched it in. Rather than a goal to go, and then you got to settle for 3. So touchdowns, please and thank you. I mean, if you got to settle for a field goal every once in a while, I understand it, but just don't make a habit out of it. But 9-play, 47-yard, 4.5-minute touchdown drive. So Simba on top of Franklin the Turtle, 7-0. And Maryland going to get the ball back. Going to hope for a better return compared to their last in the first of the game. But, yeah, 7-0 Penn State here. And like I said, we'll dive into everything as we always do in a short while as well, so stay tuned. But Penn State kicks off. We're going to have a touchback, so they will start at the 25-yard line. 1st and 10. God damn, that game's still on. All right, yeah. And they're looking to put it away. So talk about the Big Ten in general. This is a Big Ten East game. Looks like the Big Ten West is going to get very interesting these last couple of weeks. But we'll get into that in a minute. Get back on track, hit the reset button. But just once again, thanks for tuning in and watching. So 1st and 10, Maryland from the 25. And 4 on the pressure, and they take them down another sack. Back at the 18. Be second and about 16. Disa Isaac takes them down. And what I said at the start, just force pressure. He's coming off an injury. They got ran all over last week on defense. Really offensively, if he ain't, doing what he's doing, they're not that good. So put the pressure on them, not yourself. Ball's in your court to, put it to him. That pass, wobbly, yeah, almost caught for a first down. I think it got tipped, and then it was almost picked off. It falls incomplete, but Sutherland on the pressure, no, just a bad throw. Threw off his back foot. And just, yeah. He obviously learned that growing up with his brother. Tua's good when he's healthy, though. I will say that. And he can be too. 3rd and long. They take him down another sack. Actually dumps it off. It's a penalty. There's a couple flags. He threw it to his offensive lineman. So decline the penalty, 4th down and punt. Grass in the face mask as, pressure. And they're bringing it. And he's been in the dirt a little too much in their eyes already here early. So Yeah, and legal touch, 5 yards. Yeah, lost it down, fourth down. So they don't even have to decline the penalty. So fourth and 22. And Penn State's still getting the ball back because Maryland's going to have to punt here. So, I mean, what else could he do? There's nobody there to fucking throw the ball to him rather than, take a sack, which he, was going down anyway, which, they still have to punt. Like, try to do something with it. You got to give him credit there. But, Penn State's defense just balling out for the most part, as they always do. Until the offense gets rolling, keep them in the game. The offense, went and drove and scored, though, early. So Parker Washington calls for fair catch. Penn State going to start with good starting field position again, right around the 50-yard line. Have to go a ways longer, about 5-6 yards, but, they're up 7:43 to play in this first quarter, and going to try to tack on to that lead when we return. Once again, thanks for tuning in and watching. As I was saying at the start, I was watching on Fox at the start and at the end of Ohio State's beat up on Indiana, as Penn State also did the same last week. And thank you to anybody who tuned in then, and thank you for tuning in now. But I was watching for the most part Rutgers, Michigan State, and then LSU, Arkansas. They squeaked out a win, hung on at Razorback Stadium against the Hogs in a big SEC West game for them, because they control their own destiny to get to Atlanta to take on presumably Georgia, who beat Tennessee last week. And that's what I was saying with CBS then. Tennessee beat up on Missouri, got Alabama, Ole Miss on right now, Georgia, Mississippi State later on in the night. But Tennessee's going to need some help after they lost against the Dogs last week. So I was watching that, got Alabama, Ole Miss on right now. Rainy Morgantown from Milan Pusker, just south of Pittsburgh, and Take Me Home Country Roads, West Virginia. And Mountaineers, talk about Alabama and Nick Saban, his home state, where he grew up. They beat Oklahoma by 3 in a low-scoring 23-20 game. So that was on FS1. We go to FS1 with Wisconsin, Iowa, which is always a slugfest, a defensive showdown, low scoring, regardless of how good or bad these offenses are this year. It's how it normally is. They're going to run the football and play good defense, run their special teams, and hope to win. So talk about the Big Ten West. We got Big Ten East game with Maryland and Penn State on right now. Ohio State just beat Indiana, and Michigan's hosting Nebraska right now. So, I mean, Penn State's 2 losses at 7-2, 14th in the country, to 2 of the top 5 teams in the fucking country, for God's sakes. Even though they did get blown out, it could have been a hell of a lot closer, as I said before, if 1 or 2 things goes their way, or if, they don't get, too full of themselves. You got to go back to 4th and 6th and then 9-26. If you know what I'm talking about, But, no, Illinois is in the lead in the Big Ten West. And they're down at home now by 10. It looks like they're going to lose 2 straight. So they'd fall to 7-3. And all 3 losses would be in conference, because they lost at Indiana to begin the year on a Friday night, and then last week against Michigan State, and today against Purdue. They are going to kick a field goal and be down hopefully 7 with 20 seconds. So make it 31-24. Doesn't look like they get any timeouts. No, they don't. So they're going to have to hope for an onside kick. So we'll see about an onside kick, and then if they get the ball back, score tied up, maybe we'll go to overtime. But they lead the Big Ten West right now. That course could change in a matter of seconds. But as mentioned, Minnesota and Northwestern right now, Minnesota's at 6-3. Whereas with Purdue and then Wisconsin, Iowa, who are playing right now, as Minnesota's 6-3, well, those last 3 schools, Purdue, Wisconsin, Iowa, are all 5-4, but they're all 3-3 in the conference. Okay, and then Illinois would also be 3-3, or at least 3 losses in conference, maybe another win or 2. But who's going to get to Indy to take on either Ohio State or Michigan, depending on who wins the game in a couple weeks? But in the meantime, Penn State with a 1st and 10 Flea flicker. Clifford going to go deep. And has Parker Washington overthrown, incomplete. Come on. So they've gone deep twice. Third time might be the charm here sometime soon, but incomplete. 2nd and 10, and we'll move on. Hand off to Singleton, and then a flea flicker and a simple go route down the middle of the field, and just overthrew him by a couple yards, incomplete. So, 2nd and 10, Penn State. Sean's little brother, the little red dog, Liam Clifford in the ball game in motion. Singleton, the intended target near side, incomplete. So 3rd and 10. Here's Illinois' onside kick. It doesn't even fucking go 5 yards. It needs to go 10 yards for that matter. So game's over. Purdue going to beat Illinois 31-24. And then we're going to be watching with Maryland, Penn State, Alabama, Ole Miss. Purdue, Illinois is over now. We got UCF Tulane, which could be a future opponent for the blue and white if, things go that route. Come a New Year's Six game potentially, and wouldn't be a Rose Bowl appearance, but Cotton or Orange Bowl potentially, let alone the Sugar Bowl. But I highly doubt that, just because of how everything's set up. The college football playoff, as Penn State will punt, so to kick a long field goal. Incomplete, so 4th down, and what can you do? So Barney and Moore gonna try to pin them deep. Maryland's still gone 3 and out both times to begin the game, so one of the best punters in the country will shank it, unfortunately. And it goes out of bounds. Let's see where it's ball. It looks like around the 20-yard line. But Maryland would have a 1st and 10. Down 7 here. 6:51 to play in this first quarter. But it's Military Appreciation Day at Beaver Stadium, might add as well. So once again, thank you to the vets. But commercial break, and Purdue beats Illinois. So they'll take us to UCF Tulane, which is actually today's question of the day on social media, I might add as well. So be sure to go vote. Thank you once again for tuning in and watching. Chat questions and comments, super chat, super stickers, super likes, super thanks. Always great appreciated. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. But now we'll officially be watching here at 3:30, following what we watched at noon that I've been over now. Wrap that up. Dotted the I's and crossed the T's. Got Maryland, Penn State, Alabama, Ole Miss. UCF up 10-7 at Tulane. And then with Wisconsin and Iowa. So this game's even more intriguing now than originally thought, with Illinois losing. And then Minnesota's still sitting there. So we'll see what happens. And like I said, we'll see who gets to Indy to take on presumably either Ohio State or Michigan. Penn State's going to need, of course, to win out and then get some help, because our 2 losses are to both the Buckeyes and the Wolverines. And, okay, blowout fashion or not, could have been a hell of a lot closer, 4th and 6, 9:26 to play. If you know, you know. But those 2 losses to 2 of the top 5 teams in the country, for God's sake. So, it's bad. That's, a little rejuvenation out of it. A little something, that's actually good with a loss. Even if it doesn't make any sense, it is, to an extent true. At least in my eyes it is. I mean, a loss, losing sucks, because they had them, no doubt about it. But, of course, in the past, you gotta, continue to move on, forget about it, and it is what it is. Because they didn't win, they lost. So, end of that convo. But no, with the college football playoff looking the way it is this year, it is set in stone. The Peach Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl are your semis, and the national championship game out in LA, not at the Rose Bowl, though, unfortunately. But the Big Ten could potentially get 2 teams in the playoff. If they get one in, whoever either is going to be the second highest ranked behind the conference winner, let alone whoever loses the conference title game, could get to Pasadena. You know, Penn State could be on that mix potentially too. Honestly, you'd need 2 teams to make the playoff. In that regard, I would have to think at that point. But then the Sugar Bowl, it's Big 12 SEC regardless. And then so that leaves, like I said, the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl as a New Year's Six. And if it ain't that, you're looking at the Citrus, let alone the Outback Bowl. I don't know why the hell I'm talking about it right now. Should be saving this for later on. I talked about it a little bit last week, but talked about UCF and Tulane, the AAC conference winner could potentially be the highest ranked non-Power 5, which would make them an automatic qualifier to the New Year's Six bowl game. And if Penn State's in one of those, potentially that's an opponent. So just looking ahead, we'll see what happens. But the game's got to be played in the meantime. So I'll digress. 3rd and 12 for Maryland. Tagovailoa's pass complete but short. 4th down. They'll punt again for the 3rd straight drive. So Penn State going to get the ball back here up 7 and going to try to once again tack on to this lead they have that they drove and scored on their opening drive. So Turtles are very slow. Negative 15 yards here early. It's raining right now. It might snow tomorrow, so, fall into winter. Maryland slows molasses this very day right now against Penn State. And it's 5 o'clock somewhere with about 5:05 to play in this first quarter. 7-0. They can take a delay game. No, they do get it off. They almost blocked the punt again. Fuck, they ran into him. See if they throw a flag on that or not. No. Surprisingly, Penn State lucks out. All right. Because on 4th and 7, running into is a 5-yard penalty. Maybe they go for it. Roughing, of course, 15 yards on that first down. But another fair catch. Penn State 1st and 10. So, they went half the distance and scored on their opening drive. Punted on their second drive, pinned them, for the most part deep, but getting it back now, we'll see what do, but Maryland hasn't done a damn thing. So if this defense can just keep it up, and then the offense give them a little bit more time to, as they do drive and score on their opening drive, but still back to being typical Penn State, slow and steady, will win the race. And until they get rolling, clicking a little bit more than they are right now, defense keeping them in the game, score some more points, and then, close it out at the end. And like I said last week, just get into this week healthy. For the most part, okay. Sucks Joey Porter Jr. is out. I did not know that coming into today. They announced that. As he's in street clothes on the sideline, not playing today. So, yeah, that's a guy who's very rarely out with an injury. And, we'll see how much they miss him today. But it's still next man on mentality. Talk about, the offensive line being banged up. Penn State still has Jair Brown in the secondary. He, I might add, had a game-sealing pick 6 at Maryland last year for Penn State. So they're forcing the pressure up front and forcing throwaways, sacking them a few times already. So it seems like it's just going to be okay anyway. But we'll see, because you don't want to get too full of yourself, too far ahead. like they have in the past, and then they start coming back on you when, you've had the chance to do something and then you haven't, and put yourself in a tough spot. So don't do that, basically. Don't put yourself in a corner where, you're not going to be able to get out of. So there's Nittany Lion Shrine, by recall, wrestling with Winterville Lock Haven recently. Of course, we're in the thick of it for football season, but Penn State basketball for men's and women's recently just started. Hockey's had a few big upset wins here early, getting back on track to being one of the best college hockey programs in the country, seems like. So first and 10 from the 36. And Clifford, as Singleton got the first 2 drives, the fat man's now in the ball game. They fake the give to him, and he's going to tuck it and run. So 2 yards for the big red dog, make it 2nd and 8. So, all right. Just got to keep it going. You can't do something good and then just take a step back and relax, and then hope everything's going to be fine and dandy. No, you got to keep putting it to them, which they're trying to. Of course, Maryland's playing some good defense, but make it 2nd and 8 from the 38. And with that down in distance, they hand off to Katron, who's going to get a Penn State first down. So the fat man wiggles his way for about 8.5, 9, and they move the sticks 1st and 10, so you got to keep it up. And like I said, they've gone deep twice now, and the ball's been a little overthrown both times. I wouldn't mind going deep right now. You're probably going to want to wait another play or two. You're right around midfield, though. You still want to try to establish this run game, which you for the most part have it, but take a shot. Maybe, like I said, 3rd time will be the charm. They'll hand off again, Katron Allen, for about 4 yards. Make it 2nd and 6. So, 2 series for Singleton, 2 for the fat man there. Or 1 right now. Should be 2 next drive. But you got to score, of course, and then get the ball back before then. But, we'll see here. Under center is Clifford. Motion man's Park Washington. They run an end around with him far side. Got a couple blockers, and then he's going to scoot his way for 4.5, maybe 5. Be 3rd and short here for Penn State. Under 3 to play in this opening quarter. So, Effner with a good block, but he blocked them the wrong way. But, Parker was able to still move his way downfield. Got 3rd and 2. Under center against Clifford. Here comes a run. They love this. They absolutely love this formation. And handoff in its near side. And I don't know if he's going to get it. He does. 1st down. All right. They signal 1st down, it looks like, right? Or 4th and a yard, 4th and inches. They do mark it short. I didn't think he got it either at first. But then, it did look like he got it, once the pile, came undone. 4th and 1, they say. And Clifford under center again. Yeah, this is old school as old school gets. Sneak it? No. Trouble with the snap, handoff Singleton, and he's off to the races. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Penn State. 4th and 1, and a Nick Singleton touchdown run from officially about 40 yards out. We are Penn State, buck 25 to play in the first, 13-0. So Maryland, like I said, Penn State offensively, they can run the football. They'll be okay today. Because Maryland got run all over last week by Wisconsin. Wisconsin's normally good at running the football. But, trouble with the snap. That could have been bad, but hit the hole, and then good block by Tyler Warren. And I said touchdown at like the fucking 8-yard line. But he's in. Touchdown, extra points up and good. 14-0 now Penn State. So, yeah, they love that wing T formation. You get up under center. You got a tight end and then two backs, or a back and two tight ends, depending on, what you're doing. But, yeah. Starts up front, man. You'll be able to block to run, and they're doing just that today. And 14-0, a minute 25 to play in the first quarter is, some breathing room here. So, you can start to open it up, and maybe if it comes down to the second half, maybe like last week, you get some, younger guys, some more playing time, some experience. We'll see what it gives, but you got to keep putting it to them now. Pedal the metal. Don't lift until there's triple zeros on the clock at the end of the fourth quarter. I'm not saying to run up the fucking square by any means, but, Maryland still has the capability of coming back and, making this game interesting because it's still so damn early. They just haven't been able to do jack shit on offense. They've moved the ball maybe a max of 5 yards. Good kickoff return, though, out past the 30. And then Penninger pushed them out about 35. Got a flag on the play. Might be coming back for a hold or a block on the back. We'll see. But we'll see if they can catch a break or not, because if not, they're going to go backwards again, and then we'll see if they go 3 and out and have to punt. Got an offside on Penn State on the kickoff. Jesus Christ. So 5 yards down the run. So Maryland going to have the ball close to the 40-yard line. They're best starting field position here early today. And Nick Singleton now, as he was tied with Katron Allen for the most rushing touchdowns in Penn State football history for a freshman tailback. He now has 9, Katron at 8. Noah Kane had 8. Freshmen, unless you're damn good, you're normally not playing. At least that's how it was under Joe. It sort of stayed true with O'Brien and Franklin to an extent, but, at the same point in time, if you're good enough, you're going to play. And that's why, talk about the potential that they have. That's very serious. They start out at the 38-yard line and get a first down. It's just if they can put it all together, that's the thing. They got to click. They can get over that hump. That's why it's, so frustrating at times too, because they're right there. They're so close of, doing a little bit more. And if they can, like I said, watch out, because that's why I even said last week too. Hey, 7-2 now, 2 losses to the 2 best teams in the country in the top 5. I'm sure they like it at being, hey, we're a quiet 7-win team right now. Like, everybody's forgetting, even though, you're not, hey, we lost to these 2 teams. But you move on, you play. So, second down. Long first quarter. Very long first quarter. As we near it with about 20 seconds and counting. Play clock, game clock, a couple seconds apart. They've got trips near side, motion man now top of your screen. So, Tagovailoa going to get sacked again. No, he avoids it and then throws it away out of bounds. Incomplete. So, 3rd and 10. And they'll have to snap it once more. 7 seconds here. Got a 3rd and 10 after the incompletion. And 14-0 Penn State. Turnover would be nice right now, especially end of the quarter. But just continue to get pressure on them, man. So they roll out near side, and it'll be incomplete. Damn good coverage by Daquan Hardy coming over and knocking it down. Unless that might have been caught, and he might have turned and ran and got a first down and then some. So incomplete, 4th down, and still 2 seconds to play in this first quarter. Yeah, Daquan Hardy with a play. So even with Joey Porter out from Pittsburgh, but North Allegheny, Daquan from Penn Hills steps up and makes a play in his absence in the back end. And Maryland going to have to punt again. Something they've done every single drive this first quarter. And trouble with the snap, get after him. God damn. He fumbled it and then let it go down at the 10. All right, Penn State will begin the second quarter. They'll flip ends, but 1st and 10 from the 10, up 14. Yeah, completely dropped the snap, and then he, waited, and then they, okay, could have blocked it, but they didn't. So they boom it away and down Penn State at the 10. So 1st and 10, blown away from the 10-yard line, up 14 when we return. First quarter stats. As coming up at halftime, as always, we'll have first half stats and scores and take a look around what's going on in college football here this weekend, and also preview next week as well. Penn State will be at Rutgers at either noon or 3:30 next Saturday on the Big Ten Network. We should know later on the night, tomorrow, Monday at the latest, and then Monday at the latest, unless another 6-day window, a week from tomorrow for the Michigan State game in 2 weeks. As Alabama's at Ole Miss right now, Central Florida's up 10 at Tulane, and it's snowing in Iowa City with Wisconsin and Iowa. So Penn State 14-0 at home against Maryland. Tulia is 2 of 6 for 5 yards passing. And then Sean Clifford, as he became the Penn State football all-time leading passing yard leader with a touchdown today to Brenton Strange. He's 3 of 7, 21 yards passing. And that score from a few yards out to Strange, who has 2 catches, 19 yards, and a touchdown. Keandre Lambert-Smith has a catch for 2 yards. There's a shuffle pass over the middle. But they've gone deep a few times, haven't been able to execute, but they do have a running game. Katron Allen, as Singleton got the start, the Fat Man has 3 carries, 13 yards. But Singleton with a 45-yard rushing touchdown has 7 carries, 86 yards rushing, and 1 touchdown in the first 15 minutes of play today. So Penn State 14-0 on top of Maryland, as there's, of course, the Big Ten Conference commercial. Of course, they're going to have to add in a few teams here in a couple years with USC and UCLA, potentially some more. Notre Dame, Stanford, Oregon, Washington, Utah, potentially. Goes back to conference realignment a decade ago when Nebraska joined the Big Ten. Could have had Missouri. They ended up getting Rutgers and Maryland then on top of that. And college football playoff going to be expanding. They talked about it last week. Yeah, Penn State's right on the cusp of, the top 12. If they're not, in it already, to say the least, to be in the playoff for that matter. And, then those 2 losses already, and you're still 7 wins, and the 2 losses, 2 of the best teams in the country, for God's sakes, like, you're still going to be in the thick of it. And that's what they've been. It's just they haven't been able to get over that hump. And until they do, they're just where they are. There's no in between. But they've had trouble running the football recently. It's finally coming alive this year, I've thought. They're playing, blue-collar Penn State, LBU defenses they, have for years. There's the big uglies. And, talk about running the football, you got to have them up front. Maryland punted on every drive. Penn State getting the back for the 4th time. And they've scored twice and punted once. So to begin the second quarter from the 11, 1st and 10. Handoff for about to maybe 3 yards. So they are going 2 series apiece now, Singleton and Allen. And then we'll see if Kevon Lee gets any action or not. He hasn't played in quite a while now with an injury. And then, of course, the injuries up front, still next man up mentality. And they have the playmakers to get the ball to. Just, you got to execute it. You got to put it all together. And they've gone deep, but haven't been able to, make a play yet. So, still 14 points. They've scored twice. 2nd and 8, handoff, Katron. And he's going to lose a few yards back to the original line of scrimmage, so 3rd and 10. And, all right, so a touchdown, I'm going to punt. Touchdown, well, got a 3rd and 10, so we'll see if they punt or not. So there's some consistency, good or bad. Whereas your defense has locked them down. They punted every time, so still early, still a lot of ball left, but we'll see what happens here. 3rd and 10. Clifford looking to throw, and over the middle, high and completely sailed it. And they'll punt again. Yeah. Keep running the fucking ball. Intended for Lambert Smith. Yeah, he's overthrown his targets today. Really ain't that windy. It's not. It's cold and rainy. But it's, November in central Pennsylvania. What do you expect? So Barney on the punt. Hopefully this punt will be a little bit better than his first. And it'll roll out around the 36-yard line. So, flip some field. Maryland 1st and 10. And they've always worn those. Always. But, Tim Brando going back in time with some references already here today. And shit, we're not even in halftime. So I wonder what else he has up his sleeve. And for my self-entering day, even with last week being last week, and then not really knowing what was going to happen, coming in the day, same thing. Really didn't know what was going to happen. Just because of, how they've played, when they've been in this position recently. They haven't won 2 straight since they beat Central Michigan and Northwestern. Okay, late September, early October. So they're still at 7-2 and in the top 15 in the country. But that's the thing. Maryland, they're all right. They're not great, but at the same point in time, Penn State is, but they're not either. That's why I said if Penn State can run the football, which they've been able to so far, should be all right, And then the pressure off the defense, which it's there. They sacked them a couple times. They punted 4 times. Maryland cannot move the ball more than a couple yards. And it's just, knock on wood, they haven't turned the ball over yet. Penn State, that is. You got to force turnovers off of Maryland and capitalize off them. Clifford ain't playing bad. They're running the ball more than they're throwing, but he's still, not helping himself out. He sailed a few balls, just overthrown his targets. If they can put that all together, early in the year, yeah, they probably did play a full game. And that probably had to have been the Auburn win, you think about it. Because they found a way to come back and beat Purdue week 1. Okay, they started 5-0 again, but since then, even with the 2 losses and, having Michigan, Ohio State right where you wanted them at. Last week, and, be another example, because like I said then, it didn't seem like they were clicking on all cylinders at, whatever point in time in the game that was when I said that. But then as the game progressed, like they just kept putting it to them. But Maryland then, quarterback trouble, and then no running game either. Like it helped out, and it's sort of the same thing right now because Tulia ain't doing much, and they don't have a running game either. So just Penn State continue to run the football here, continue to get stops on defense, and if you can do just that, you're already at 14. I'm not saying this 14-0 lead's going to hold, but right now I think it's enough early that even if they would want to take a back seat late, might be all okay to do so. But of course, you never want to do that. You want to keep putting it to them, like I've said. So, tackle for loss in the backfield by the Dream. And hopefully you can score some more, of course, but just honestly, as they bring pressure on Tulia, take him down another sack. Abdul Carter unblocked up the middle. Jesus Christ. Maryland, nothing on offense. Nothing. So 3rd and 25. Watch 11. Carter coming up the middle. Blows right past the fucking center. And then chase him down and shoelace tackle. Down he goes. Just something about that number 11 for Penn State on defense. Among a few other numbers, offense, defense, and special teams for that matter. But, Maryland still is capable, as mentioned, to, do something. But Jair Brown chases him down, and they got a 4th and even longer. Another sack. They might break last week's record for the most tackles for loss in program history today, for God's sakes. Jesus Christ, if they keep it up, they might. 4th and a few miles. Yeah, 4th sack. Got a couple tackles for loss, I might add, as well. So, they're about halfway there. Think about it. And we're not even halftime. Maryland on the punt for not the first or the second, let alone the third. Or the 4th time, but the 5th fucking time here today. And Penn State almost blocks the punt again. They're going to get to him eventually. Nice punt. They'll let it bounce, and Maryland will down it around the 34, 35-yard line. So Penn State ball, 1st and 10, up 14, 3 timeouts, 11:37 to play in the half. Going to try to, tack onto this lead again. So Penn State with a running game, Maryland without a running game. Penn State's defense able to make stops. Maryland's defense can't make stops. They've stopped Penn State twice, forced them to punt twice, but Penn State's also scored 2 touchdowns. One from, short goal line situation, 3-yard touchdown, and then a 45-yard run. So a little bit of everything to an extent right now. Got to keep it going, though. Okay? Like I said, you just can't take a step back now and think it's enough when it might be, but it probably won't be. Hopefully that makes sense. But we'll see what it gives. As always, I'm sure something will. I'll shut up. But in the meantime, just once again, yes, thank you for tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. The thumbs up button. Share, #culturable, #Maryland, #Penn State. Chat questions and comments, super chat, super sticker, super like, super thanks. Always greatly appreciated as we watch Maryland, Penn State. Ole Miss keeping it close at home against Alabama right now. We'll see if another former Saban assistant can defeat his former boss in Lane Kiffin, who I've said and thought, and we'll see if it comes true or not, could potentially be a dark horse for Nebraska. Speaking of the Cornhuskers, they're at Michigan right now and down early. Got UCF at Tulane, and then Wisconsin and Iowa, I might add, as well. So Penn State allowing a visiting band to make the trip today, I might add, as well. And this is the second consecutive home game in a row that's been done, which, has to be a record for a number of years since that's happened. Because very rarely, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago when Ohio State dotted the I, they marched in and marched out with a win. Very rarely does Penn State allow visiting bands to come. Ohio State this year, Maryland today as well. But before then, you got to go back to Pitt did it. I know Temple did it. And then Ohio State, before then as well. It's not that far from State College, University Park down to College Park. I'm sure Scott Van Pelt has eyeballs on this game. But as Maryland's down 14-0, he actually might be tired right now. From the 28 first and 10 Penn State. And another handoff, Katron Allen. The fat man gonna get about 5 yards. Second down and medium. So, yeah, 2 series apiece for the tailback. Singleton for 2. Katron for 2. Keep running the ball. And then you beat them deep with the play action. You've gone to, Parker Washington a few times, haven't been able to convert. Keandre Lambert Smith on my as well, even the tight ends. Where the hell is Middle Tinsley at? 2nd and 5. So out of the gun, they'll hand off again on 2nd and 5. Katron down the far sideline, out past midfield, first down. He's got damn good vision. He waited for that hole to open up and then hit it and went and got it for first down. Watch. Handoff, little stutter step, and then thought about going inside, but then he cut it out. And, yeah, Singleton runs with passion. And Katron, it seems like he can, see it a little bit better. But they're both damn good true freshman running backs, so they're similar, but, slant over the middle, caught Penn State first down for 14 yards. From number 14 to number 3, Parker Washington, move the sticks, 1st and 10. Normally it's, as they are similar, they're both running backs, and they're both true freshmen, and they're both damn good. Normally it's, the saying is they're more similar than they are different. I do think they're 2 different types of backs, though. But they are still similar, so, handoff again to Allen. Sort of contradict, that, but just, get a few yards here and there. Bounce it, hit the hole, go, first down. Like, just keep it going, man. Keep running the fucking ball. And right around midfield now, yeah, why not once again go deep? You've tried it, you haven't been able to execute it, but I'd want to go deep. So 2nd down and 5, and they'll hand off again, Katron Allen. Katron inside the 30. About a 5-yard gain, but going to be short, 3rd and inches. Clifford and the pistol. Watch the flat top of your screen to his tight end. They don't run it. They will run it. Allen, and he's going to get stuffed. No gain. 4th down. Kick field goal. You're up 14. 4th and half a yard. He didn't get it. Kick the fucking field goal. Do not go for this. But guess what? They're going to go for it. Here comes Singleton out. We'll see if they run the two backs or not. They're going to go for it here on 4th and half a yard with 8:08 to play in the second quarter, up 14. Same fucking wing T formation. Jesus Christ. They converted on it earlier and, went the distance and scored, but they'll hand off and it'll be near side, and they'll still get the first down. Nick Singleton, he hits the hole, and he's still going inside the 10, down the 5, and across the goal line, touchdown Penn State. So, yeah, fuck it. We're going to run the same play against you, 4th and 1, and we're going to score on it again, I might add. So he's over 100 yards in the first half, for God's sake. 7:46 to play before halftime. Make it 20-0 Penn State. And, yeah, he just continued to push. He's not down either. Ball in the end zone, touchdown. So keep it going. And this offensive line, talk about the injuries once again. I've said it all year. I haven't thought they've played, half bad. They don't get enough fucking credit this year, because they finally found a running game for the first time in about 3 years. Which who would have thought, over that, course of time, Penn State football would not have a running game, but they didn't. But it's back, and they're up 21-0 midway through this second quarter. Maryland's going to need more than jet airliner to come back and win this game, because all Penn State's going to do, as they've done already today, for God's sake, Clifford doesn't have to do much the rest of the way if he doesn't want to. At this point, like I said, second half, early third quarter, you might, depending on what happens before halftime, might want to think about, getting to the point, put some, young guys in, get them some playing time. But, still got, a little ways to go before then. But, just keep running the ball, because that's what they've done already. They're going to continue to do that. They're going to work clock. And, this place might fucking empty out at halftime because of the weather and the lead. They'll for sure, if it keeps up, empty out at the end of the third quarter. But surprisingly, we have not had a fucking turnover, let alone... actually, I take that back. We had one penalty. But, we're halfway there. So, surprisingly, no reviews. They haven't, had to look at it and think about it and hopefully tell us something good. But that's where we sit at right now. Penn State up 21-0 against Maryland. Another blowout against the Terps. Something Penn State's done numerous times in the past. Most recently in 2019 on a Friday night. And then 2020, the COVID year, Maryland came up here with Tulia, and they beat the blue and white because of explosive plays and turnovers. And Penn State not having a running game, but now they do. They beat them last year because of the defense. They're beating them again today because of the defense, but then having a running game. Because Maryland offensively, they have not done a damn thing right. They, might have one first down, if that. So, just keep it up. Keep putting it to them, man. Keep running the ball. And once again, like I said at the start, if they can run the ball today, they'll be okay. Well, guess what? They can run the ball today, and they're okay right now up 21-0. So I'll leave it at that. Iowa's now up 7-3 against Wisconsin. UCF up at Tulane. And, we got Alabama, Ole Miss. Alabama on the kickoff after a touchdown themselves. And for whatever reason, they're playing Sweet Caroline in the second quarter rather than in the third, let alone fourth. But, and good times right now. Honestly, yeah. It felt so good, up 21-0. 21-0 is 21-0. I don't care when that is in the game. It's 21-0. And it's better that it's, with 7.5 to play in the second quarter. Another touchback, and Maryland first and 10 to 25. So, they're going to have to get something going here on this drive, you would have to think. You know, Penn State also going to get the ball to begin the second half, I might add. But, I mean, it's been the Singleton show for the most part. 2 4th and 1s for, 30 and 40 plus yards and touchdowns. 100 yards rushing for him today and 2 touchdowns. And then, Clifford has a passing touchdown, but Penn State doesn't need to throw the ball. Just keep running the ball on him. You can throw if you want to, just don't do anything stupid. But couple yard run there, second down Maryland. But Maryland's got to do something here pretty quick if they want to get themselves, some breathing room to, try to get back in this game, at least cut the lead. Because if not, this game could honestly really get out of hand here before too long. Second and 7, about a 5.5, 6 yard run. About 3rd and short for the Terps. Out of the pistol, handoff, first down, Maryland. So, all right, they keep it going there, and I believe that might be their first down, maybe second, because first down for Maryland. They've punted 5 times already. We're midway through the second quarter. That's how bad they've played. 6:44 and counting. And Penn State's up 21-0. They've been able to run the ball and get stops on defense. Hand off, another first down run. So now they're starting to get some momentum, build up, and try to, keep it up and try to, cut this lead, punch it in, get some points, some signs of life, but double D with a hit. And meantime, you already handed off, so it doesn't matter anyway. 1st and 10 Maryland, they run a bubble screen far side. That's a hold. And then they get another first down. So 3 straight plays, 3 first downs for Maryland. Got a flag. This might be coming back. But we might have offsetting penalties, I might add as well, because the ref just threw his cap off. So we'll see what the dirty laundry is. It's a hold on 8 or 6 right there on 34, yeah. And then are they going to say late hit? And then going to say offsetting, replay the down. Still going to be 1st and 10 Maryland or 1st and long. So we'll see what they got. 2 fouls. Got a hold. Okay. And then, 10 yards. They'll replay down. Be 1st and 20. But then after the play, late hit. Still an automatic first down for Maryland. I don't know how that's unsportsmanlike, but yeah, the hold's clear. Actually, had 2 holds. One right there and one right there. They called it on 7 rather than 6. And then Jair Brown comes in. That's a clean hit. He was in bounds when he fucking hit him. He obviously must have said something, but whatever. They run a toss, and then it looked like it was going to be a reverse, maybe a pass, but then he kept it for himself, and then he gets nowhere. So no gain on the play. Got a 2nd down and 9 for Maryland officially. Did give him the yard. But yeah, look, there's a toss. It looked like you wanted to reverse it and then maybe have some blockers or throw it deep, but nowhere to go. So Penn State makes a stop, 2nd down. Chop Robinson, the former Terp, gets stiff-armed, making plays for the Penn State defense now. But 2nd and 9 out of the gun. Yeah. Yep. They're going to go deep far side and incomplete. Jalen Reed along with Kalen King and Marquise Wilson on the coverage for Penn State. Turn around is a fucking interception. Jesus Christ. Turn the hell around. He did, I guess, but looking the wrong way. So incomplete. Got a 3rd down and 9. Good coverage. Good coverage. But a 3rd and 9 from the 38 for Maryland. And pump fake. Chop almost gets to him. Carter chasing him down. Pass incomplete. Maryland, unless they want to kick a long field goal, they're going to have to punt. Tulia's former school in Alabama. Of course, he was there with Tua before he transferred to Maryland. They're at Ole Miss on defense, though, right now. Like I said, Alabama, 2 losses, very well could have 4 right now. You think about it. And maybe if they lose today, that'd be 5. Like, everybody would be, oh, shit, like, Saban still have it or not. But, I mean, every once in a while you do have a bad year. Or, you know, not necessarily bad, just worse than you thought it was going to be. 4th and 9, Maryland goes for it, gets 6 yards, but turnover on downs. So 5 punts and a turnover on downs, Penn State getting the ball back. 21-0 blue and white. Got 3 timeouts, 5:15 to play in the half. Potentially do some damage before halftime, and then also get the ball to begin the 3rd quarter. This game could be over here before too long. Just as it was at halftime last week. As Penn State was up 7 at Indiana, and then the Hoosiers tied it. And then they scored 38 unanswered before, of course, Indiana scored late, and then a 45-14 final score. So 21-0, Penn State getting the ball back, 1st and 10, 5:15 and 3 timeouts before half. Also get the ball to begin the 3rd quarter, might add. Alabama, Ole Miss, UCF now 24-7 at Tulane. And then still close with the Badgers and Hawkeyes. Clifford, 4-9, 35 yards passing and that touchdown. But talk about the balance of the running game. It's been there with the carries when they're able to run the football. Katron Allen has 10 carries, 44 yards rushing. But Nick Singleton, 8 for $113 and 2 touchdowns. Those 2 touchdowns are on 4th and 1 and from 45 yards and 30 yards out. I mean, if they don't convert, it's 7-0. So they're lucky to have that early touchdown on the first drive, if you think about it. But it's 21-0. So 21-0 Penn State. We'll update more all these at halftime and see what else is going on in college football, I might add, as well. But in the meantime, Penn State has controlled the clock by a good 5-6 minutes, it looks like. So if they can keep it up by running the football, work more clock, you have a lead, you'll be okay. So I'll leave it at that. But just once again, thanks for tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. First and 10 from the 32 out of the pistol. Clifford going to hand off. Katron Allen. And Allen for about 2. Make it 2nd and 8. Got an empty set. 5 wide. We'll see if Katron motions back into the backfield or not. Maybe a quarterback draw. Roll out. Quick pass over the middle. Incomplete. 3rd down and 8. 10 for Strange. 3rd and 8. 4:31 to play in the half. Clifford getting pressure, going to step up, avoid a sack, roll out, dumps it off. First down, Penn State. Brett Strange out to midfield, move the sticks, 1st and 10. Way to keep the drive alive. Just making a play. Honestly, out of nothing. You know, all by himself in the backfield. Should have been sacked right there, and then again right there, and then he avoids it. And then rolls out, and man wide open because they brought pressure, and everybody else was deep, and hey, they needed what? 8. They got that and then some, and 1st and 10 at midfield. Run it, but why not go deep? Pump fake. He wanted to. Far side, incomplete. 10 for Parker Washington. About ready to say too. Continue to run the ball. Work clock. You know, make sure they don't get the ball back, you know, before halftime, because then you'll also get the ball to begin the second half, and then 5 punts and a turnaround downs for them in the first half, and once they touch the ball mid-3rd quarter, they wouldn't have touched it since they turned it over on downs there on that last 4th down. So 2nd and 10. I mean, yeah, work some clock here. Got a flag and a false start. Let's see who it's on. On Sal Wormley, 77. Yep, thank you, Tim Brando. Make it 2nd and 15. Yeah, that's a good call. Right. What can you do? So 2nd and 15, back at the 44. And over the middle caught. Clifford to Clifford. Sean to Liam. Or, excuse me, that's 80, not 82. Malik Mega with his first catch of the year. He's been, you know, playing good on special teams, but seems like he's going to be the number 4 receiver today. Rather than playing Amari Evans, redshirt him. Maybe get a few other freshmen or just guys that right there on that cusp of getting redshirted or not. 3rd and 8, Parker Washington got a flag on the play. Not going to be enough, but see what the flag is. But those other receivers that, you know, bring up would be Saunders, Johnson, Ivy. 10 yards, they'll replay it down, so that ain't going to count. But it seems like Mega is playing over Amari Evans right now because of a red shirt. Where's Harrison Wallace at, though, man? You know? They have the playmakers. They do. Just get them the ball. 3rd and 18 for Penn State, back of the 41. A couple penalties on this drive and going the wrong way now. Even though they're at 21, going the wrong way. Clifford going to step up, tuck it, and run, but nowhere to go. A couple yards and off the punt. So, can't really do anything there. So, Maryland can get the ball back, 3 timeouts, you know, about 2 minutes to play. Going to try to do something here before halftime, and then, you know, Penn State to get the ball to begin the 3rd quarter. But it's right now 21-0, could be 21-3, 21-7 here before too long. Maybe 28, something. We'll see. But, yeah, It's been up and down. You know, they scored, they punted. They scored, they punted. Scored, well, they're going to have to give the ball back again with another punt. So, just, you got to find some consistency now. And they have been able to, but they haven't been able to. You know, it's just, well, it is what it is. What can you do? But sun goes down. Barney on the punt. And that almost gets blocked. They run into him. Got a flag on the play. They're going to down at the 2. There is a flag on the play. Question is it running or roughing? Running's a 5-yard penalty. Roughing's 15. But 15 with the roughing should be an automatic first down with a 4th and 18 or 4th and whatever it was. Personal foul. Roughing. That's an automatic first down. 15 yards. Automatic first down. Penn State will keep the ball. Offense getting back out on the field. 1st and 10 for Penn State. We'll see where they spotted that. But now Maryland just shooting themselves in the foot. You know. So Loxley not happy. And rightfully so. But yeah. And now Penn State gonna keep it. Now you gotta run the ball and work clock. And hopefully score, and then hopefully score again early third quarter, and then just, you know, put them out of their fucking misery. So from the 39-yard line, officially 1st and 10. Their defense going to have to get off the field if they want the ball back. But Katron Allen on the give, far side. 35 down to the 30, maybe a first down. Going to be just short, the 2nd and a half a yard, it looks like. They do say first down. They move the sticks. They give them 10 yards. 1st and 10. That's a good stat. Penn State has 24 plays in Maryland territory where the Terps only have 24 fucking total yards today. Roll out by Clifford. And comes back incomplete. 10 for Strange. 2nd and 10. Got a whistle. Got a flag on the play. Strange is bleeding. So the Zebras huddle up. What do we got on the yellow flag? After the play was over, again, another unsportsmanlike conduct on Penn State. On Franklin. 15 yards, down counts, so Franklin's getting an unsportsmanlike conduct. He gets another, he's going to get thrown out. Okay. He's obviously not happy with the refs. And, you know, rightfully so to an extent with... Did that really just happen? He got an unsportsmanlike conduct called against him? Where's that Franklin gift when they beat Auburn last year? Fuck them. You know, 2nd and 25. About a 2-yard dump off on a screen. And a timeout for Maryland, I believe. Yep. They'll stop the clock. Have 1 left. Still going to probably get the ball back here after all that. But, you know, fuck those motherfuckers. Like, James Franklin just got called with an unsportsmanlike conduct. He's going to have to keep his cool, or else he might get teed up. But, all right. As much shit as I've seen, you know, Penn State coaches give the officials through the years, for the most part, Paterno. You know, Brian let him hear it. Franklin has too, to an extent, but I don't think ever in Penn State's, you know, 130 plus year history of playing football that the head coach has gotten an unsportsmanlike conduct called against him. Could be wrong, but Katron Allen, 3rd and 24, handoff, and he'll get to the 32s there in field goal range. They can kick it here. It's going to be a close to a 50-yard field goal. But you might as well, rather than go for it on 4th and 14, kick the fucking field goal with Jake Pinniger. Had a 50-yarder last week right before halftime with my dad. No doubt about it, believe me. Yeah, Joe would let the refs hear it, if he didn't agree with something. Especially chasing them down. And whether it was down the sideline, in the game, going into halftime, at the end of the fucking game, he'd let him hear it. Franklin, fighting, sticking up, and gets an unsportsmanlike conduct called against him. So, yeah, all right. Pinniger for another 50-yard field goal before halftime. Minute 39 to play in the second quarter here, but had a 50-yarder last week. And 50 yards today will also be up and good. So maybe they don't have a kicking issue anymore. That's back-to-back games he's had two 50-yard field goals just prior to halftime. And they're up 24-0 now. So 24-7 last week. But they're pitching a shutout today. Good snap, good hold. Kick, had the distance for a good, I'd say, 55 yards, if that. Yeah, we're feeling good right now. All right, 24-0. So good. So good. You. Ow. So 24-0, $1:34 to play in the half. Maryland getting it back, no timeouts still. Franklin got an unsportsmanlike conduct, and then he went and did fucking push-ups on the sideline. Oh my God. And as much shit as I've given him, as much shit as everybody's given him, I mean, you gotta like that. All right, I don't think I've ever fucking seen that either. But we'll move on. Okay. Touch back on the kick. See what he has to say going into halftime, let alone post-game in his press conference, because I feel like, this one might be a can't miss, must watch, even though I watched him to begin with. I wonder what's going through his head right now. I do. They said, as much shit as I've given him for, this or that, you gotta like it. He's as he should. He's, sticking up, fighting for the fucking team as the head fucking coach, because he's at the top. And then it goes down from there. Oh, they almost picked it off. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. That's winning over, players. Like, of course he already has. He's been at Penn State for 9 years. He's recruited the way he has. But, something like that doesn't very rarely happen to begin with. Take him down again. They sacked Tulia. Chop Robinson, the former Terp. Penn State with a timeout. Got a 3rd and long from Maryland, minute 24. Penn State going to try to get the ball back here again. Maybe they do run the fucking score up on their ass today. This keeps up with the officiating and Maryland not being able to do anything. Hey, why the fuck not? It does seem like come 3rd quarter, though, after Penn State's opening drive, they're going to be putting in, some backups. And we're going to get some playing time for some of the backups, if you will. Guys not necessarily buried on the depth chart, but some of the younger players that they have. Get them some playing time. Get them some experience. They'll keep running the ball with Singleton and the Fat Man. Because their red shirts are burnt. They played in every fucking game so far this year. Drew Aller's red shirt is also burnt. He's played more than 4 games, so they're bowl eligible as well. They'll get those extra practices, but position like this, another big lead, 3rd and 18. Defensively, they make another stop. They get off the field, timeout. Give your offense a timeout and a minute 15 to go do something before halftime again, let alone do something early 3rd quarter. And, a max of 38-0 then, a minimum of 24, maybe 27, 30, anywhere in between. We'll see. But at this point, yeah, just once again, get out healthy. I mean, you can put it to them if you want to, but get out healthy, continue to run the ball, and just get some guys some playing time at this point. But that ain't going to come until, like I said, mid-3rd quarter after their opening drive to begin the second half with, the lead as it is now, but it might be a little bit more. We'll see. So, nearing halftime in most all these games. Ooh, how's that not kick catcher interference? Thank you. There's the flag. Maryland now just shooting themselves in the foot. Like I said, 5 punts, turner rundowns, another punt, make it 6 punts and turner rundowns, but then 2 big penalties that have cost them. The one on the roughing the punter, and then this is kick catch interference. Well, he lowered his head. They might say targeting, but never hit him. Yeah. We'll see what they call, but it's going to be a penalty against Maryland unless they pick it up. Yeah, he lowered his head but hit him with the shoulder. They want targeting. Got a personal foul. Targeting on Maryland. Previous play is going to be under further review. They'll overturn it because he didn't hit him at all. But why don't you think about it, okay? Think. And then hopefully you tell us something good here. But bringing in the rules expert Mike Ferrer for whatever reason. This is targeting on the field. It's going to get overturned now. I mean, they could still say, that's indisputable or not. We'll see. They have to find indisputable evidence to overturn it. They should have that because he did lower the crown of the helmet, but he never hit him. Hit him with the shoulder. It's clean tackle. There's no foul. They overturn it. Still first down Penn State, but no 15 yards. So player not disqualified. He would have to sit out the second half rather than the first half next week because it's still in the first half today. But Penn State getting it back still with all that. 1st and 10, minute 9, and a timeout up 24-0. So we'll see if they can do anything before halftime. Going to have to go, good ways to get in field goal range, let alone score. But, timeout a minute 9, if you use the sideline, that's eternity. Empty set. Just don't, they can run the clock out if they want, but just make sure they don't get the ball back, which they're not going to. Clifford rolls out, gonna throw it away. Incomplete. 10 for Lambert Smith. So 2nd and 10. Clifford a little slow to get up, but all right. Minute 3, 2nd and 10. Why the hell aren't you on the ball? Or at least, something with an out route. Bubble screen complete far side. Harrison Wallace for about 8. Got a 3rd and short. Clock's rolling. Got to go. 52 seconds. Got to go. 3rd and 2. Okay, they wasted 6 seconds getting it off, but 3rd and 2. Over the middle, caught, first down. Clock it. Clock it. Clock does stop for a second, but it's going to roll here. There. All right, they'll run a play. 1st and 10 at the 41. They got one timeout in their back pocket. Seems like they're going to try to use it for a field goal. Dump off. Singleton for 5. 2nd down and medium, 27 seconds. And counting, unless they did call a timeout there. And I believe they did. So they burned their 3rd and final timeout. 27 seconds. And a 2nd and 5, up 24-0. I mean, at this point, no timeouts. Still got a ways to go. I mean, you're, for the most part, probably just looking to get in field goal range. I mean, you could heave it. You could take a shot. I necessarily wouldn't do that though. Not right now, because you got a couple plays, before then if you have to. You gotta, if you're going over the middle, you better, get up to the ball and clock it, or hurry up and snap it. You're looking for something from where they're at right now at the 45-yard line for a good 20, 25 yards, and you're hoping for something, out of bounds or close to it. Run, 2nd and 5. Okay, throws, completed the 30. There's Harrison Wallace, or Mitchell Tinsley as well. Both have catches on this drive now. Got to clock it. Let's say, hurry up and snap it. Got to clock it. You don't want to burn any time. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good fucking God, you should have fucking clocked it. You just wasted 12 seconds. Going to go deep from the 29 in the end zone. Incomplete. 1st and 10 with 2 seconds. So now they got, bring out Pinniger for a field goal. You wasted fucking 12 seconds when you should have clocked it. Could have had a 2nd and 10 with 20 seconds. Now you got a 2nd and 10 with 2 seconds. Just fucking stupid. So Pinniger on for a field goal. It took all fucking day to snap that. Another 46-yard field goal from Jake Pinniger here. High snap, but hold down, kick up and good. Penn State now leads at halftime, 27-0. So they luck out, do end up getting a field goal with that. But that drive, those last 20 seconds could have been executed 10 times better than what it was. So Pinniger now, as Penn State has 3 field goals, as Penn State has 3 touchdowns, he has 2 field goals from 50 and 46. And Penn State leads at 27-0 at halftime against Maryland. Just frustrating. What the hell? You got to know and be better at that going into halftime. So they'll take us to halftime. No interview. But Penn State leads at 27-0 at halftime against Maryland. So, take it for what it's worth. They have a 4-touchdown lead with 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals. Who knows what would have happened if as they show up highlights, the clock management's a little bit better there than the half. Because like I said, you had from, the 30-yard line, a 1st and 10 after that pass complete to Tinsley. No timeouts. You had 20 seconds and could have clocked it. Could have spiked it to stop the clock. And then have a 2nd and 10 from there. Okay? But then, no, you waste all the time in the fucking world. I mean, hell, we're burning daylight, okay? And 12 seconds went off the clock. They snap it, go deep. Incomplete in the end zone. Could have been caught. Could have been also intercepted. Luckily, they had 2 seconds left. Bring on the field goal unit, Jake Pinniger, for 3. And they, kick it, and it's up and good. So 27-0. But, hypothetically, if they spike it, which they should have, let alone get the snap off quicker than they did, I'm having a damn heart attack because of that, let alone, the crowd's roaring, snap the fucking ball, wasting all the time, that's left, and there wasn't much. You have a 2nd and 10 at the 30, 20 seconds, rather than a 2nd and 10 at the 30 with 2 seconds. You're getting another couple plays with no timeouts. Maybe you still kick a field goal, maybe you don't. I don't really think it's going to matter right now, but you never know, okay? Maryland has not been able to do a damn thing today, but that's one thing right there they got to get better at. Clock management right before halftime in that type of situation. Because they let crucial seconds, might not seem like a lot, but it was. That 3 could have been a touchdown. Could also been nothing, but it, still at the end of the day could have resulted in the 3 points that they got anyway. So 3 touchdown drives, are up 21-0, back-to-back field goals, make it 27-0 Penn State at halftime. American at birth, but Nittany Lion by choice. Happy Veterans Day weekend to all who have served, I might add, as well. And thank you for tuning in and watching my college football Maryland at Penn State Live Watch Long Reactions live right here on YouTube. As always, I'm your host, Encyclopedia Sports. Go in, Luke 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. Thumbs up button. Share. Chat questions and comments. Super chat, super stickers, super likes, super thanks. Always great appreciated as well. We're at halftime in all 4 games that I'm currently watching right now as well. So we'll get back to the action with those momentarily. But at halftime, Penn State leads Maryland 27-0. Tulia Tungalovoa is 5 of 12 passing and 20 yards. Roman Hemby, he has 6 carries for 36 yards rushing. Penn State on the flip side, bringing a lot of pressure. They have a few sacks on Tungalovoa, a few tackles for loss, I might add, in the backfield as well. Pressure, no turnovers yet, but Maryland has punted 6 times, and they also have a turnover on downs. They have not been able to move the ball, honestly, more than 5 yards at a time. They do have a few first downs. They had 3 straight first downs, had some momentum. They're going to get the ball back, rough the punter. That's when it sort of changed, even though Penn State was already ahead anyway. Maryland, right there could have done something, potentially cut the lead before halftime. They don't. Penn State gets a field goal. Penn State gets another field goal. But they're roughing the punter. And then, the targeting that was overturned because it wasn't targeting, even though he lowered with the crown of his helmet, never hit him with the helmet, hit him with the shoulders, clean tackle on a punt return. Penn State still drives and gets a field goal before halftime, but then the issue with, clock management. Could have been more, could have been less, but it is what it was, and it's the 3 points. So 3 touchdowns, to 2 field goal drives for Penn State. 27-0 is your halftime score. Sean Clifford, as he is now the all-time leading passer in Penn State football history, is 11 of 21 for 106 yards passing and a touchdown to get Penn State on the board 7-0 early to Brenton Strange, who has 3 catches, 34 yards, and that touchdown. Clifford's other passes complete, 25 yards to Mitchell Tinsley, 14 yards to Parker Washington. Keandre Lambert-Smith has a couple yards, as does Malik Mega. Theo Johnson has a catch for 10 yards. So, they're dishing it out to anybody and everybody who's out in offense. Get playmakers ball in space. They sort of are, but, really everything's, short. Wallace has his catch, which then got them to, short situation to go. Tinsley for a big gain. Really, that's the longest pass of the afternoon, 25 yards on that last drive before halftime. So Clifford's 11 of 21, as mentioned, 106 yards and a touchdown. That touchdown is Strange, who has 3 catches, 34 yards in the score. But then Tinsley, 25 yards receiving. Washington, 14 yards receiving. Johnson, 10 yards receiving. And then everybody else has a catch for less than that. So Penn State really doesn't have to throw the football, though, because they have a running game. And like I said at the start, if Penn State can run the football today, they should be okay. Along with pressure off the edge on defense, which they have had both. Maryland, like I said, 6 punts and then a turnover on downs. Penn State with 100-yard rusher in the first quarter. 2 rushing touchdowns on 4th and 1s from 30 and 40 yards out, I might add. And then the passing touchdown, and then 2 field goals, 27-0, your halftime score. As everyone is showing off halftime highlights from all the games in college football today, we'll get to those scores in a minute. But Sean Clifford's 11-21, 106 yards passing and a touchdown. Katron Allen, the fat man, has 13 carries, 66 yards rushing. He might have a 100-yard rushing game if he keeps it up. But Nick Singleton, 8 carries, 113 yards rushing, and 2 scores, both on 4th and 1 out of the wing tee. And the first was 45 yards. The second was 30 yards. Both were touchdowns, 21-0, and then 2 field goals, 27-0. Penn State at the half. Got Penn State having 10 more first downs than Maryland. They are 3 of 9 on 3rd down. They've punted a few times, but they're 2 of 2 on 4th down, and both were touchdowns. So, 4th and 1, they'll convert, take those touchdowns off the board, but then they have, the passing touchdown and the 2 field goals. Rather than 27 nothing, it's a little less, but, still a, comfortable lead at halftime, as it seems 2 straight weeks now. Penn State with a big halftime lead. Seemingly, the game also might be over in the meantime. We'll see, though. Maryland, depending on what they do on their first drive in the 3rd quarter, is going to tell all. And like I said, Penn State comes down to it here. Should be, playing some backups here before too long, getting some younger guys some more playing time and experience to continue to build towards the future because of the potential that they have right now and moving forward. Like I said all year, watch out for Penn State football. They're 7-2. Their 2 losses are to 2 of the 2 best teams in the country, for God's sakes, both in the top 5 in Michigan and Ohio State. And those games could have been a hell of a lot closer than they were. If a play or 2 goes their way, of course it didn't, but 4th and 6 and 9:26 is all I'll say. But Penn State has almost 300 more total yards than Maryland does here at halftime. Got a 296-27 stat in that. Maryland's total yards, for the most part, are coming off of Tulia's passing yards. They only have 7 yards rushing, okay, as a team. Penn State has a 100-yard rusher and then 1 nearing that mark, okay? So, once again, Penn State running the football. If they can, they'll be okay. Well, they can, and they're all right, up 27-0 at the half. You look at the total yards. It's 296-27 in favor of Penn State. Penn State with 106 passing yards to 20 yards for Maryland, and then the 190 rushing yards to only 7 rushing yards. 8 penalties, so the rest were letting them play early, but they've started to throw, more flags since. James Franklin, in the meantime, also got an unsportsmanlike conduct foul called against him, did 15 push-ups on the sideline during the game because of that foul. But, yeah, he needs to, of course, watch himself, keep his cool, or else if he gets another called against him, he's going to be thrown out, and then we'll see who's, the interim the rest of the way. Manny Diaz has head coaching experience in college football, of course, formerly at the U with Miami, was fired by the Canes. Franklin hired him after Brent Pry left for Virginia Tech once again as the new defense coordinator. I would have to think it'd be him, but Danny Rocco, Penn State alum, former Delaware coach, is also on the staff. Potentially him, if it comes down to it, because, Yurcich is an offense coordinator, okay, but, Penn State is a blue-collar school. It's running the football and playing damn good defense, and they're doing both today. So, okay, there's that. Ken Wisenhunt's also on the staff, I might add, former NFL coach. You think about it, he has a pretty damn good coaching staff this year in 2022. He's found ways to, as he says, he always keeps a list, of coaches and rightfully so. He probably should, because it's coaching carousel. It's still next man up mentality. It's just like in real life, like there's always somebody next in line to take the fucking job. So yeah, just odd, sort of funny, but like I said earlier, has to be a first, if ever, but first in a while that's happened before that I can't recall, that a Penn State football head coach, and as much shit as Joe gave the refs and even O'Brien, and then you have Franklin as well, to have an unsportsmanlike conduct called against them, and then a 15-yard penalty in the game, and okay, down counts, first down for the team, like just very odd. I know it happens, but it doesn't happen for Penn State. That's the thing about it. Yeah, there's that. I might add, refs have let them play. Talk about the penalties, but they have started to throw some more flags there as well. So we'll see how much they try to control the game, try to help Maryland get back in it. It's 27-0 though. They haven't done jack shit. This game's fucking over. Okay, this game is over. I know it's halftime. It's still a 6-minute game. Maryland might score once or twice. Penn State, they should score a little bit more, I have to think. The way they've been playing, and should hold on to win this game, and should get to 8-2, and then still have a good chance of finishing with 9-10 wins, maybe even 11, depending on how you end the regular season. Because like I said last week, at this point, I think 8-4 would be a disappointment, let alone anything worse. Because there's serious potential to finish at 10 wins in the regular season at 10-2. And then get to 11-win season with a bowl win potentially, But even at 9-3 and then a 10-win season with a bowl win, okay. But like I said last week, wouldn't you want to have a 10-win season in the regular season to get to the postseason during the bowl season for bowl games to potentially win your 11th game? That's one more win. Past 2 years, Penn State was entering 2022 11-11 overall, at 4-5. And then 7-6, and then they're 7-2 right now, and potentially a 11-2 finish if it comes down to it. Like, okay, then you're what, 22-13 over 3 years, if I can do my math correctly. Sounds about right. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But once again, thank you for tuning in and watching. But that's just how close Penn State is. That's the frustrating thing about it, when it can be this, but then it's this. If they can get over that hump, they're right there in the conversation for this, that, or the other. Especially with the playoff the way it's been. They've been screwed a few times, right on the outside looking in, more than once. But then, playoff expanding, like, they're still right there, man. Like, once again, as much shit as I give James Franklin for, not doing this or not doing that, he's still been able to recruit. But can't any other college football coach for that matter? Yes. It's been the in-game, decision making, like right there before halftime with the clock management. That for his 9th year as head coach of Penn State and 12th overall, I get the coaches coach and the players play. That needed to be 10 times better though, because it could have been more than 3 points they got, let alone even worse. But it was the 3 points they got, so it is what it is. They get 3 touchdowns and then 2 field goals. It's 27-0 at halftime. So, as much shit as I give him, you still got to give him credit, okay? Because it could be a hell of a lot worse, than it's been, and it's been subpar, to say the least. Because that's what you still don't know, honestly. I mean, you sort of do now to an extent, but a couple weeks ago, even earlier this year, you didn't know what Penn State team was going to show up because of how they played recently, for that matter. And, they're 5-0 start, lose. Okay, they win. They lose. But they won last week, and they're shutting out Maryland right now at halftime, 27-0. So that has to speak for something, okay? Well, there might not be much. It still has to speak for something. 27-0 is your halftime score. And they've controlled the clock, I might add, by a good 8 minutes. So, 27-0 Penn State leading Maryland at halftime. We begin the second half with Alabama, Ole Miss, UCF, Tulane about to return as well, just like with Wisconsin and Iowa. But earlier today and this week in college football, as we had more action this past week, we had on Tuesday night, Eastern Michigan defeat Akron 34-28. Ohio, who Penn State defeated 46-10 back on 9/11 weekend. Here we are, Veterans Day weekend. Penn State up 27-0 at halftime against Maryland. The Bobcats of Ohio beat Miami, Ohio 37-21. They're bowl eligible, which is a good thing for Penn State. The other MAC school Penn State beat this year in Central Michigan, they came back and won and beat Buffalo. The Bulls, not the Bills, but the Chippewas from Central Michigan with a 4-point 31-27 win over Buffalo. They still have to win out to become bowl eligible. So root for Central Michigan the rest of the way in the nation, because that makes Penn State look even stronger. When the teams you beat continue to win and, have more wins themselves. Auburn's going to have to win out, I might add, as well to become bowl eligible. Purdue with their 6th win today, they're bowl eligible. Northwestern's, been done for the most part. They haven't won since week 0, since they beat Nebraska across the pond in Ireland, which honestly is a shame for the Wildcats and Pat Fitzgerald. They had Ohio State right last week, where they wanted them at, but let them off the hook, if you will. Penn State's 2 losses to Michigan, Ohio State. They're 2 of the best teams in the fucking country, for God's sakes, in the top 5. So they're good. Win would have been better, but they lost. And once again, 4th and 6 and 9, 26 is all I'll say. But, Penn State then, as Indiana's now done for too, they lost for the 7th time. So even if they win out, they're not getting a bowl game. There's Minnesota. They're bowl eligible. Maryland's bowl eligible. And then we'll see with Rutgers and Michigan State, moving ahead as they played today. So Penn State about to take the field in the second half, bring them out. And they'll get the ball to begin the third quarter, I'm at it, with a 4-touchdown, 27-0 lead at the half. So, in action this past week, as mentioned, some midweek college football. Eastern Michigan beat Akron 34-28. Ohio 37-21 win at Miami, Ohio. Toledo beat Ball State 28-21. That game came down to the final play, as did that Central Michigan Buffalo game on Wednesday, with Chippewas winning by 4, as mentioned, 31-27. Northern Illinois beat Western Michigan 24-21. Kent State put up 40 at Bowling Green in a 40-6 win. And then on Thursday and last night, Memphis 26-10 win against Tulsa. Louisiana Lafayette beat Georgia Southern 36-17. And then Cincinnati won at home against East Carolina 27-25 in a game that early on was 2-0, 5-0, 7-5, and then it was back and forth, and the Bearcats win it by 2, 27-25. Got USC putting up 55 at home against Colorado, 55-17. They play UCLA next week in the Battle of LA. And then Fresno State won at UNLV 37-30. Soon we'll recap what's already happened today in college football, what else is going on right now, and preview what's to come still tonight and next week as well. So stay tuned for that. But Penn State, 27-0 lead entering the third quarter. Got a 1st and 10 here at the 25-yard line. Run the damn ball. Clifford going to hand off. Singleton. And for 6, maybe 7 yards. Got a 2nd and short. Yeah, he's going to play this opening drive, Clifford. But depending on what they do and then depending on what the defense does, we're going to see Drew Aller here before too long, I think, just as we did last week. But they'll keep running Singleton and Katron. And then the receivers, we'll see about them. who's going to be playing and who's not. Another handoff, a loss of a yard, third down, and about 4 for Penn State here. Just get a first down. Yep. Strange in motion. So got a 3rd and 4, play clock at 6. Got to go. They'll hand off again, 3rd and 4. And looks to have a first down. Nope, they say short, 4th and inches. And Penn State will punt to begin the second half, up 27. So they run it 3 times there. I don't mind that. You know, Clifford's day might be done when they get back out on offense. We'll see. But Barney on the punt. Maybe they run a fake. And Amore gets it up and away, and a fair catch for the 22. 1st and 10 Maryland. From there to begin the second half, as Penn State only took up 2 minutes to begin the second half. And there's Penn State tailgaters. We are Penn State. So yeah, see what the defense does here. Go from there. But 27-0 lead. They're in a good spot. They are. Just get out healthy. Like I said last week, same thing right now. Get out healthy. Even though they're banged up, continue to get out healthy if you can. Run the ball, get stops on defense. I mean, comes down to, yeah, shutout would be nice, but we'll see what happens. I'll leave it at that. We'll see where we go from here, but yeah. So yeah, 27-0. Penn State punts. Maryland getting the ball back, and we'll go from there when we return. We're tied up with Bama and Ole Miss at 17. 24-14 now. UCF at Tulane. And arguably the conference championship title game preview. We'll see how everything, shakes out for everybody. But there's a lot of damn good college football again this weekend. Hard to believe it's already mid-November. 2022 is a calendar year in general is absolutely flown by, I thought. But this football season is just, flown by the edge of our seats as well. Like, where the hell is it going? Like, just, recently it was September 1st and Penn State was at Purdue and 1-0. And then 5-0 last month, coming off of a bye, and then they go to Michigan and lose. And then they win and they lose again, and they won last week, and here we are today. So, 27-0, and surprisingly, even with all the sacks and the tackles for loss and, forcing Maryland to punt 6 times and turnover on downs once, they truly haven't gotten a, real turnover off of the Terrapin offense today yet. Which, a couple last week against Indiana, and, plus in that category, this year as a whole anyway, a little surprising they haven't gotten a turnover yet, but you might smell one coming here before too long. First and 10, Maryland. And they'll hand off, going to try to find a running game, which I don't, blame them for trying to, get something going. Just got to create a spark, and get going, but we'll see what happens. 2nd and 9. They hand off again for 3 yards. So 3rd and 7 here for Maryland. Three on the pressure. And they still almost get to him. Oh, almost picked it off. Incomplete, 4th down, and Maryland on the punt. So Penn State getting the ball back, and we'll see who's playing on offense. Yeah. Manny Diaz, like I said a few weeks ago, they keep it up defensively. He might only be here at Penn State for this year. He might be getting himself another head coaching gig next year. And a fair catch at the 35. Penn State 1st and 10 from there. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman want you to jump around with 12:01 to play in the 3rd quarter. Yeah. Fuck, they might both get 1,000 yards rushing as 2 true freshman backs if they keep it up. Singleton, a little closer. But yeah. Damn. Clifford going to stay in. 1st and 10 from the 35. And then he rolls out. He's going to go deep. Clifford going deep. Tinsley incomplete. There's a flag. They'll get a PI. And a 15 yards automatic 1st down. Yep. Best interference on the defense, 15 yards, automatic 1st down. And it's bought foul like the NFL, but still 15 yards, automatic 1st down. So held him right there, sort of turned around, but yeah, a good call. They could have got Penn State on a pass interference, I might add as well, a little bit of push-off, but they called it against Maryland. So 1st and 10 now at midfield. Run the damn ball. You have Singleton with over 100 yards rushing. Get Catron. Get the fat man 100 yards plus today, too. Hand off. And he'll get 6 yards. 2nd down and medium. Keep running it. Just keep it up. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, let's go State. 2nd and 5 from the 45. Clifford looking to throw. He has him on a wheel route wide open. Oh my God, he's going to tuck it and run. Get the fucking 1st down. He does, just barely. Oh my God, throw it to Catron, who you faked it to. He was going down the far sideline on a wheel. You had him too. Clifford gets hit out of bounds into the bench. If he steps up and looks that way, which he stepped up but looked near side and then ran and he got the 1st down, but shit. Actually, no, he didn't even get the 1st down. 3rd and 1. How did he not get that? It's 3rd and 1, but they'll hand off still, and they'll still get the 1st down out of that. So Bob Saget would be proud. Penn State, full house formation. Everywhere you go, everywhere you look, Penn State getting another 1st down. Catron Allen. Clifford under center. Motion Strange back in the backfield. They'll run a play action. Clifford looking deep. Comes back near side. Complete to Johnson to the 20. Down inside the 10 at the 7. 1st and goal Penn State. with 10 minutes to play in the third quarter, already up 27-0. Keep putting it to them. LSU has sucked that Tiger dick. Well, Terrapins of Maryland are getting choked on by the Nittany Lions and about to be grounded up into some turtle soup. First and goal, handoff, no gain. Second and goal. Got to punch it in. Clifford, quarterback keeper on a draw, and he'll get down to the 4-yard line. Third and goal from there. Whatever you do, don't throw a fade. Do not throw a fade right now. I'm telling you. Don't do it. Third and goal from the 4. If you're not running a run here, which they're not going to now because K-Tron motion's out, so an empty set 5 wide, you're looking, I think, over the middle to a tight end or in the flat. Clifford. And incomplete. Jennifer Strange, no flag. Would have been a clean tackle. But boos from the crowd, and rightfully so. Field goal, fuck it. Kick it. Yeah, they probably should have thrown the flag on that, though, honestly. Even though it would have been a clean tackle, he was still all over him. Yeah. That's a penalty. These are Fs. Fuck these motherfuckers. Yeah, that'd be an automatic first down, first and goal. You said down. It's 21-yard field goal now. Kicks up. Kicks good. Penn State with 8:14 to play in the third quarter. Now leads it 30-0 on top of Maryland. So 3 touchdown drives. 3 field goal drives. What's next? Maybe they get a safety off of Maryland. Like I said earlier, yeah, no doubt about it, you want touchdowns. Settle for 3 every once in a while, okay, just don't make a habit out of it. But even with the lead, it's okay. You know, because Maryland doesn't have anything going their way. What I would like is something that Penn State hasn't done in quite a while, okay? And as many times as they've made Maryland punt, I would like some sort of return for, you know, good yardage, let alone a touchdown when it's all said and done, okay? They haven't had a special teams kickoff or punt return in God knows how long. It's been that long, I can't even remember, okay? And I'm normally good at remembering shit like this. They're still able to run the ball and play good defense today. Okay, 3 touchdowns, 3 field goals, 30-0, but I'm not trying to put them down by any means. Refs have, you know, well, say whatever you want about them, but yeah, it's 30-0. So leave it at that. Maryland gonna get the ball back. We should see Drew Aller next time Penn State's on offense, I would have to think. I think they probably kept Clifford in there because the opening drive of the second half only went a couple minutes. And then, you know, Maryland went 3 and out, so not much time that went by. You know, they want mid-third quarter for him to come in like they did last week. Which by the time they get the ball back on offense, you know, should be time for him to enter, I would have to think. So we'll see. Maybe somebody else, though. Who knows? But, yeah, 30-0 your score. So far today in college football, finals. Ohio State beat Indiana 56-14. Tennessee, the 66-24 win against Mizzou. LSU, as mentioned, went to Arkansas, only won by 3, 13-10. Notre Dame also won by 3, almost blew it late at Navy, 35-32. Purdue came back and beat Illinois. Should say came back and won. It was back and forth for the most part all day, but they were down. But then they retook a lead and then hung on to that lead, 31-24 for the Boilermakers, handing Illinois their second straight loss. So like I said earlier, the Big Ten West now is going to get very interesting down the stretch. Vandy upset Kentucky, probably the upset of the day, 24-21. West Virginia defeated Oklahoma for the first time since joining the Big 12, 23-20. UConn with an upset. Maybe that's the upset win of the day. 36-33 against Liberty, who came off a big road win at Arkansas last week. They lose to UConn, who is surprisingly right now entering today 5-5, make it 6-5. But I might add, they are at the FCS level. So they would be bowl eligible with Jim Moore. How the hell UConn 6-5 beats me, but UConn defeated Liberty by 3, 36-33. Michigan State beat Rutgers 27-21. Duke beat Virginia Tech 24-7. Pitt beat Virginia 37-7. And then SMU with a 41-23 win at South Florida. Louisiana Monroe 31-28 defeating Georgia State. James Madison bounced back. 37-3 win at Old Dominion. New Mexico State beat Lamar 51-14. And Western Kentucky with a 45-10 win against Rice. 1st and 10 for Maryland from the 16-yard line. 8:08 to play in the third quarter. Penn State leads at 30-0. Pass complete near side for about 6 yards. 2nd down. And then everything else is ongoing. Get to those scores in a minute. And then also still preview what's to come later on tonight and next week as well. So stay tuned. 2nd and 4 for Maryland. From the 23. Tulia going to step up, avoid a sack, and it only gets about a yard. So 3rd and short for Maryland. Third and 1, handoff, and he'll get the first down. They'll move the sticks, 1st down, Maryland. Tua, more like Tulia. They'll say catch at the 43. 1st down. What a play. Rolled out all day to throw. Got a flag on the play, I might add, so this might be coming back. Might not even count. But ball was deflected. Holding 10 yards, they'll replay it down. So this ain't even going to matter. So Maryland cannot catch a fucking break to save their goddamn lives. That might have been their best play of the day. They did have 3 straight 1st downs on 3 straight plays. But play-wise, I mean, probably should have been dead in the water. But all day to throw, and then almost hit. It was tipped, deflected, and then had a receiver a little deeper, and then he caught it, and it was in bounds. So catch, 1st down, but then the holding 10 yards, replay it down, 1st and 20, back of the 16, so it doesn't matter. And Tulia going to get sacked again. Chop Robinson takes him down once again. That's his 2nd. And Abdul Carter telling the Maryland bench, hey, that's 2 sacks for Chop Robinson, who used to play for you guys, but now he plays for us, taking down your quarterback. That's 2 sacks. So fuck you. make it 2nd and 22. And I believe that's 5 sacks and more tackles for loss. Tulia's pass over the middle caught. And they needed 22. Almost got it. Be 3rd and short. Damn. Yeah, last week Penn State had trouble covering the middle of the field early. Quarterback got hurt. All fine and dandy from there. They give up the middle of the field there, and they say that was a first down. That was a damn good spot, I'll tell you that. More like 3rd and 2. But they say 1st and 10 the handoff for 2, so make it 2nd and 8. Whatever. These refs say, man. What the fuck? Dumb as a fucking doornail and blind as a fucking bat. Jesus Christ. Just luckily Penn State has a 30-0 lead rather than, being a close game and then something doesn't go their way. Like, not complaining or bitching by any means, but you just, the way, some stuff's going, and just, from experience, man, just, okay, these refs still fucking suck today. Like, what the fuck? Got a double injury on both Maryland and Penn State on that previous play. Got a 3rd and 2 coming up. So they'll take a break for the time being. We'll see if they fade to black and take a commercial break with it or not, but they will. Okay. So ongoing right now in college football, we got, for the most part, everything in the 3rd quarter, or early 4th, that kicked off at 3:30. Couple games starting a little later, though, right now at halftime, late in the 2nd, and then got an hour until the night games begin. As I thought today, it was a long first quarter, but then, 24-0, 27-0 after the 3 field goals, then the halftime score, and then another field goal, so 30-0 now, Penn State. They get sped up, slowed down again a little bit here, but yeah, here's everything that's happening right now in college football, as we've already reviewed, updated everything that's gone final this week, along with earlier today. So right now in college football, got honestly a couple blowouts today, a couple close games, and then some that are in between. But right now, Arkansas State's up 35-19 on UMass. Houston, another one-score game, 35-29 against Temple. Michigan, 24-3 leading Nebraska. Ole Miss, 24-17 on top of Alabama. Clemson, 24-10 against Louisville, trying to bounce back. Of course, Penn State, 30-0 on top of Maryland here. NC State, 20-14 against Boston College. Got UCF and Tulane at 31-14. Knights over the Green Wave. Another shutout with Washington State and Arizona State, 28-0 your score there for the Cougars. Iowa State 14-10 at Oklahoma State. Army's up 9-3 at Troy. Got Wisconsin, Iowa, Hawkeyes up by 4, 14-10. And then we'll update everything else here in a minute. After the double injury. Yeah, this is no doubt about Maryland's best drive. Show off that stat as well. As Penn State had earlier, and I'm sure that's grown, but as it had to have by now. 3rd and 2, Maryland, another first down. Had as many plays in Maryland territory as Maryland had total yards. Maryland now with 40 total yards in the game. On this drive alone, they have about 32 now after that first down conversion. So, going to go deep. And incomplete. Kalen King on the coverage. 2nd and 10. Yeah, good coverage. Good deep ball. I mean, they're trying to find something. Like I said, best drive for them, no doubt about it, thus far, but still down 30. Like, this game's over. Like, they need a fucking miracle. Shuffle pass, and then Penn State brings them down. Marquise Wilson at the 48. Got a 3rd down and about 6 for Maryland here. 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. He's playing more today with Joey Porter out. No doubt about it. Jalen Reed's been somebody recently that's been stepping up and playing a lot. They tip it, bat it down at the line. Carter and King, incomplete, 4th down. And, I mean, Maryland at this point, you might as well fucking go for it. You know, you're down fucking 30. Why punt? So 4th and 5 for Maryland. See if Terps can convert or Penn State can get off the field and get the offensive ball back and then go from there. Watch a bubble screen near side. 4th and 5. Rolls out. And then almost picked off, incomplete. Kalen King almost had it, incomplete. Turnover on downs again for Maryland. So 6 punts. 7 punts, if that. I've lost fucking count. Maybe 8. Couple turnover on downs. Maryland hasn't even been in fucking field goal range today. That's how bad they've been on offense. And how good Penn State defensively played. So 30-0. Penn State offensively going to get the ball back. Drew Aller should be in at quarterback, I would have to think, with, they'll still run Singleton and Katron. And then we'll see who, the receivers are going to be, along with the tight ends, and who's going to be blocking up front for them. So they're up 30-0. They're at 7-2. They'll get to 8-2. Got Rutgers next week. Got Michigan State in 2 weeks for senior day. And then a bowl game. And like I said earlier, could be anywhere from a New Year's Six to, Citrus or the Outback Bowl again. Or whatever the hell that bowl game's now called, since Outback no longer sponsors it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Alabama ties it up with a touchdown there. So this game getting good. But also right now going on college football. Left off with Wisconsin and Iowa, still 14-10 Hawkeyes. Got Minnesota up 24-3 against Northwestern. See, Minnesota's that team right behind Illinois in the Big Ten West now, with Illinois losing 2 straight. But remember, Illinois beat Minnesota. So they have one more win. Everybody has 3 losses, at least 3 losses now in conference. They're still going to have to play each other. Okay. Wisconsin, Iowa right now. You have Illinois beating Minnesota, but then Iowa beating Purdue, Purdue beating Illinois. Iowa and Illinois went down to the wire in a low-scoring defensive showdown. Illinois won that, though. But then you're going to have Iowa and Minnesota and Wisconsin still play, along with Iowa and Nebraska. Of course, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State. So Like I said, the Big Ten West is going to be interesting to see who gets to Indy. But 1st and 10, Drew Aller in the ball game at quarterback. Going to dump it off on a tight end screen to Theo Johnson. So he's 1 for 1 with a 1-yard passing. Make it 2nd and 9 for Penn State. Also right now, as mentioned in college football, yes, Minnesota is up 24-3 on Northwestern. Miami leads Georgia Tech 14-7. Air Force 28-3 against New Mexico. Marshall leading App State by 2 scores, 28-14. Got Middle Tennessee State up by 6, 20-14 against Charlotte. UTSA up on Louisiana Tech 44-7. UAB 27-21 lead, over North Texas. So 6-point lead for the Dragons. On top of the Mean Green, 27-21. Florida 24-6 against South Carolina in the Steve Spurrier Bowl. And then South Alabama leads Texas State 10-zip in the first half. And games still kick off. We'll get to those in a minute, in about 45 minutes or so to an hour. As the rain continues to fall, it rained all day yesterday, as mentioned, and it's continuing to rain today. So 3rd and 9, no gain on that previous play, but got a trips near side out of the gun. Drew Aller over the middle, high, incomplete, intended for Parker Washington. 4th down, and they'll punt. So, yeah, there's that. Even, like I said before, as good as he's also looked, not that great. Not necessarily bad, but he has a lot of learning left to do. Because he's a true freshman. He's 18 years old, for God's sake. So, Penn State also bringing a backup punter. This being the true freshman and number 97 from Atlanta, Alex Paqueta, and they'll down it at the 10-yard line, be 1st and 10. Maryland from there. If Pinniger ain't going to be kicking, I mean, you're looking at either Mitchell Grohl or Gabe Owusu, who's handled both kicking and punting this year for Penn State. But honestly, probably Sanders Haydak. Rain really coming down now. This is as bad as it's been all game. It is downpouring once again, as it did nonstop yesterday. 1st and 10 from the 11. Penn State 30-0. At this point, yeah, you'd probably want to get the shutout. Handoff and 8 yards, maybe 9, 2nd and short. But even on defense for Penn State, as many guys as they've played, they're playing even more now, as they did last week. In all fronts, defensive line, the linebackers, and the back end in the secondary, the corners and safeties. More playing time leads more experience, leads to know what the hell you're doing next time you're in the game. So, 1st down for Maryland, but Maryland is going to try to find something here. They'll hand off on a draw, and then I believe Katzer on the tackle. 2nd down and medium. Another shuffle pass and another 1st down for Maryland. Keaton Ellis on the tackle, late flag, probably for a, God damn it, not necessarily a late hit, but they'll probably try to get him on targeting for a helmet to helmet for the way he hit him. Actually, we got a hold on Maryland. 10 yards, they'll replay the down. So even as they do something good, they go backwards. shooting themselves in the foot. Just that hit. I mean, the flag's right there. That's why I said that. You know, I thought that's why they threw that. But no, there's a hold right there too. Yeah, no doubt about it. That's a clear-cut hold. Can't do that. Expect to get away with it. So, minute 11 and counting to play in the third, second down, and long for Maryland. It is like, luckily this is rain and not snow. Because, I mean, if this was snow, there'd be a couple inches on the ground right now. Into the flat, about 5 yards on 3rd and 6, be 3rd and 1. But it's going to be snowing here before too long. Just Penn State, next to last home game today. Go to Rutgers next week, and then they get Michigan State. And they got a bowl game to play. So, it's like I said, hard to believe. You know, here we are mid-November already. Season's almost over. Feels like just fucking started. 3rd and 1, they sneak it. They get another first down. So, drive stays alive, and they're going to try to score here. They don't want shut out. Penn State at this point, like I said, yeah, you're probably hoping for a shutout, but at the same point in time, you got to stop them. But Maryland still has a ways to go here. This will probably do it for the third quarter. 1st and 10, and they sack them back at the 24. So, I mean, Vanover, the 6th or 7th sack, I believe, for Penn State, if I'm not mistaken. We'll look into that right now. But at the end of the third quarter, Penn State leads Maryland 30-0. 15 to play. And Maryland with a 2nd and long at the 24 to begin the fourth. 30-0. Checking in on some stats here.
I noticed there weren't any refreshments, so I'm just going to leave a couple of snacks.
Folks, the line's a shambles. Let's tuck it in, sir.
Come on.
Progressive can protect you from becoming your parents, but we can't protect your own model when you bottle with us. We don't need a line monitor.
Penn State defensively today. If this will ever load. There we go. Okay. Like I said, no turnovers. But officially,
Did you know there are 3 ways to own your vehicle from Courtesy Ford? Select from in-stock inventory, reserve your Ford in transit, or order your dream vehicle online. However you choose to shop, Courtesy Ford wants you to get the Ford you want.
We first opened our doors at Elmore Tires in 1995, and for over 25 years, Elmore Tires and Langer's Market have continued to grow and reach new heights. One thing that hasn't grown is our prices. We still offer Central PA the best prices.
why the hell does this not have defensive stats? It normally does. What the hell?
Just look how our Beach Creek location has grown too.
That's odd. Of course, when I want it, I can't get it. PennStateClothes.com, by the way. Yeah, shit. What the hell? More. Yeah, anytime I don't need it, it's there. Now I want it, and it's not there. Of course. That makes me mad. I want some defensive defensive stats here. In the meantime, still to come in college football tonight. Got Georgia, Mississippi State, Washington, Oregon to follow this on Fox, which should be a good game. Kansas State, Baylor. Got Kansas, Texas Tech, Wyoming, Colorado State, Florida Atlantic, and Florida International. TCU's at Texas. North Carolina, Wake Forest, Texas A&M, Auburn, Southern Miss, Coastal Carolina, Florida State, Syracuse, Cal's at Oregon State, I might add, Stanford and Utah, along with Arizona and UCLA and some Pac-12 after dark. Boise State, Nevada, San Diego State, and Utah State, Hawaii. Momentarily, we'll preview what's to come next week. Penn State will be at Rutgers at either noon or 3:30 next week on the Big Ten Network. And I'll have live watch-along reactions live on YouTube then, so be sure to tune in. Yeah, this crowd's filed out for the most part. From the 24, 2nd and 22 officially, late whistle. They'll blow it dead, no play, and a flag on the play. Yeah, anytime I want fucking defensive stats, they're here, and now when I want them, they're not. What in the hell? Yep, no. All right, what's that great hospitality? What's the story, Tim Brando, about Penn State fans? Let's hear it. He said by the end of the game, so got a fourth quarter to go. Third down for Maryland. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah, that's making me mad. Anytime I want, or anytime I don't need the defense stats, they're there. Anytime I want them today, right now, they're not. What the hell? Where'd they go? 3rd and 26, they hand off. And Sutherland on the tackle. They get to the 29, be 4th down though. See if this will help out at all. It should. This is courtesy via of Penn State rather than a different outlet that I normally use. See if they also have defensive stats or not. Yeah, I thought it would be a little closer than it is today too, but Maryland couldn't get anything going. You know, Maryland with another punt. I do have that stat for you, how many times they punted. So yeah, 30-0 early 4th quarter. We're tied with Alabama and Ole Miss. This game coming down to the wire. Maryland has now punted officially 7 times, and then 2 turnaround downs. Clifford going to finish the day 12 of 23, 139 yards passing, a touchdown. Really didn't need to throw it, you know, as much as he did, though. I mean, but Singleton right now, 11 of 122 and 2 touchdowns. Katron, 16 for 73 yards. So get him 100 yards rushing would be nice. You know, 3 touchdowns and then, you know, 3 field goals. 30-0 your score.
It matters where you stay. Go get Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
Yeah, I want some defensive stats.
They said that's fine for the streets, but you'll never win a race. They said motorcycles are one thing, but you can't make cars.
But I guess we're not going to get it. Like, what the hell?
You won't win Formula One in a hybrid. Well, they'll never compete off-road. What about when there is no road?
Oh, well.
They've challenged us to do a lot of things. What will we do next? Honda, the power of dreams.
Of course, just know for sure it's, I believe, 6 sacks. And then more tackles for loss. But don't know the official stat of that because it, for whatever reason, won't load. Can't find it anywhere either to begin with, so it ain't gonna matter.
What's for dinner? Penn. Freshly prepared, clean ingredients. It's not just a night off from cooking. It's a delicious night on with everyone at the table. Penn. Only $1 delivery from on or up.
That's odd. Any other fucking time they'd be showing defensive stats. They would, but today they're not. Like I said, when I don't need them, they're there. When I need it, when I want it right now, they're not there to be found. There's some Penn State images from the past with being yet so close about the college football playoff. But yeah. Drew Aller in the ball game at quarterback here still. Run the damn ball. Of course, get him some throws that he's comfortable with. First and 10 from 13. 13:30 to play. Penn State up 30-0. And handoff. Yeah, he should have kept it for himself. Tank Smith going to get the full fourth quarter to run the ball. Yeah, he should have kept it for himself. He would have been on an RPO down the far sideline, first down. Clock winds. Just run the ball. Or clock. Get out healthy once again, like I said. 2nd and 7. Aller going to throw. Complete far side. And Liam Clifford on the reception. First down, Penn State. I'm interested to hear what this Tim Brando story is about Penn State with hospitality, with being, top notch and everything the blue and white do. First and 10 from the 33. And they'll hand off Tank Smith. Nowhere to go. 2nd and 10. See, offensively, they got... And the offensive line still, for the most part, the same, but Aller at quarterback, Tank Smith, all 5'8", 250 of them in at tailback. Dinkins in at tight end. And Clifford and Malik Mega in at wide receiver. Aller going to step up, avoids a sack, going to tuck it and run on 2nd and 9. And he dives and gets a Penn State first down. So, throw ain't there. Well, use your legs, and he does just that and gets a first down. Should have been sacked right there. And then, they get the first down. Harrison Wallace also in a receiver for Penn State. Another injury on defense. So, a little mad about I can't find these defensive stats. Because Penn State has wreaked havoc and been running roughshod against Maryland today. Long story short, offense, defense, and special teams for that matter. Another, dominating win, just as they had last week. But next week, Penn State will be at Rutgers. And I'll have live watch along reactions over on YouTube then. As mentioned, it'll be either noon or 3:30 on the Big Ten Network. So be sure to subscribe, notification bell next to it as well to stay up to date. And hope to see everybody then. Also now next week, in college football, I might add, More action on Tuesday and Wednesday. Of course, more Thursday and Friday college football as well. Another one-score game on Friday night, last night in college football, I might add. Like I said, with the Cincinnati East Carolina game, but then also it was Fresno State and UNLV. But on Tuesday in college football, Bowling Green, Toledo, Ohio, Ball State. Next Wednesday, Eastern Michigan, Kent State, Miami, Ohio, Northern Illinois, and Western Michigan, Central Michigan. Only one game next Thursday with the NFL Thursday night football game next Thursday night being Titans-Packers. We got SMU and Tulane. Should be a good game. Next Friday, South Florida, Tulsa, San Diego State, New Mexico. Next Saturday for kick time, still to be determined. We got Georgia, Kentucky, Ohio State, Maryland, Illinois, Michigan, TCU, Baylor, Tennessee, South Carolina. Both Pac-12 games with Utah, Oregon, and USC, UCLA are going to be can't miss, must watch. Miami, Clemson, got Ole Miss, Arkansas, Penn State, Rutgers, Texas, Kansas, Kansas State, West Virginia, Navy, UCF, Colorado, Washington, Stanford, and Cal. The band is on the field. Got Texas Tech, Iowa State, Oklahoma, and Bedlam. They'll play for the Pig with Iowa and Minnesota. Wisconsin will go to Nebraska, Northwestern, Purdue, Indiana, Michigan State, Colorado State Air Force, San Jose State, Utah State, Houston, East Carolina, Cincinnati, Temple, and then from noon on, as the SEC will be playing tune-up games going into rivalry weekend in 2 weeks, Alabama hosting Austin Peay. Got Louisiana Lafayette and Florida State, East Tennessee State, Mississippi State, UMass, Texas A&M. Florida will play at Vandy, which should be an interesting game. UConn, Army, Virginia Tech, Liberty, Duke, Pitt, UTSA, Rice, Washington State, Arizona, North Alabama, Memphis, Georgia State, James Madison, and we're back to it. 1st and 10, Aller, hands off, and Tank Smith for about 5 yards, 2nd down and medium. Also next week, Oregon State, Arizona State, Boston College, Notre Dame with the Irish and the Catholics, Old Dominion, App State, NC State, Louisville, Coastal Carolina, Virginia, Akron, Buffalo, Utah Tech at BYU, Akron, Buffalo, Utah Tech, BYU, South Alabama, Southern Miss, Louisiana Monroe, and Troy, Louisiana Tech, Charlotte, FAU, Memphis, Tennessee State, FIU, UTEP, Western Kentucky goes to Auburn, as Penn State picks up another 1st down, 2nd and 4, Tank Smith for 5 yards through the sticks, 1st and 10. Arkansas State, Texas State, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Marshall and Georgia Southern. You've got Boise State, Wyoming, New Mexico State, Mizzou. Syracuse will be at Wake Forest. Should be a good game in the ACC. UAB at LSU, Fresno State, Nevada, and from the islands next Saturday night, got UNLV and the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii. And be sure to tune in tomorrow as well for NFL Live Watch Along Reactions live right here on YouTube. And thank you for tuning in live right now and watching college football. Maryland at Penn State. Penn State 1st and 10. Aller's passing complete on a wheel route. 2nd and 10 Lions with 9:51 to go. Up 30-0 against Maryland in the raining. It's pouring. I'm sure Maryland fans are snoring. They've been sound asleep since start of the game. They haven't done a damn thing today. Maryland, nothing. Penn State, 24-0. After 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Just prior to halftime, they got another field goal before halftime to make it 27-0. Had a field goal in the 3rd quarter, but then nothing else. So, I mean, everything for the most part was done in the 1st half. Aller's pass, complete, but no gain. So, yeah, 30-0. They did their damage early with 3 touchdowns, up 21-0, and then 3 field goals, 24-27, make it 30-0. 9:39 and counting to play, and, you know, garbage time for a lot of guys. Yeah, like I said, Penn State offensive line, sort of the same. Allers in quarterback, Tank Smith at tailback, Dinkins in at tight end, but your three receivers are Harrison Wallace, Malik Megan, and Liam Clifford. And another handoff, Tank Smith nowhere to go. 4th and 10, they'll punt. Why don't you give them a chance to throw it there on 3rd and 10? You know, something over the middle. You don't want to turn it over. You're going to want to punt and pin them deep, make them drive on you if they do end up scoring, but you're pitching a shutout and you're hoping to keep that shutout. And then that would be 2 consecutive years Penn State's had a home shutout win. Last year was Indiana, today potentially Maryland. Don't want to jinx them, knock on wood. They're up 30-0 here with 8:40 and counting to play, and Paqueta on to punt again. Penn State punts it away, and they'll down it inside the 5 at the 3. So Maryland 1st and goal at the 3. 8:14 to play, Maryland ball. Penn State leads it 30-0.
The world used to be unsearchable. Then came Google. Our body's rhythm used to be invisible. Then came Fitbit. What if the two forces joined together? What if you were more in tune with your body and with the world around you? What if Fitbit transformed the way we live? Again, Fitbit by Google.
Research shows that people remember ads with young people having a good time. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance, here's a pool party. Only pay for what you need.
There's no shortage of beautiful things. But when you have the capability to go anywhere and do anything, you realize there's nothing more beautiful than freedom.
During the Black Friday sales event, get 1,000 bonus cash plus no monthly payments for 90 days on these Jeep Grand Cherokee models. Visit Jeep.com or a local dealer for a great selection of Jeep vehicles.
I love this mattress.
So, entering up, we'll take it.
Ashley's Black Friday mattress sale going on now. Save big on select adjustable mattress sets and pay 0% interest for 72 months. Only at Ashley.
Feel bad for Maryland's band. They brought them, but I don't think they've played a single note because they haven't done a damn thing. They probably, pregame and halftime did something, but, nothing to celebrate during the game. Still interested to see what Tim Brando's going to say about Penn State. He said he had a good story. He said sometime, by the end of the game he'd say it, but they take him down, tackle for loss. No safety, though. Be 2nd down, and we'll see where they spotted at, but it's be inside the 3. Tulia's done now for the day as Drippy in at quarterback, and it's dripping rain as it's been since yesterday morning. Second and 10. Handoff, and they tackle him right at the line of scrimmage. No gain, 3rd and 10. Safety would be nice. I'll take a safety. I'll take a shutout, though, over a safety. So, I mean, you get a safety that are getting the ball back and you're probably working clock. You could still get a safety and a shutout. Roll out. Sack his ass. It'll be thrown out of bounds, incomplete. If they say intentional grounding, it would be a safety, but they'll say incomplete, 4th and 10. Number 94 for Penn State, Jake Wilson on the pressure. Hell, that's what we're even at, that threshold of hell of how bad Maryland is here today. Penn State's playing, guys with numbers and names that even as much as I know, I don't know. So no offense, but, sorry. Maryland punts. Penn State, 1st and 10. Yeah, I can't believe he still got a unsportsmanlike call against him, and then he did fucking push-ups. But yeah, that's that. All right. Penn State 1st and 10 when we return. Maybe we'll see either one of the other two quarterbacks for Penn State here. Allers, played a lot in burning his red shirt now this year. Why not put Vayu in or Bo Barilla, another true freshman? Get them some playing time in the rain. Even though they're probably just going to be handing off and maybe throwing them a little bit, but why not put one of them in at quarterback? Tank Smith's going to be running the ball because they don't have anybody else to tailback. They did have, at the start of the year, 4 running backs plus Smith. But Devin Ford quit, Kevon Lee's hurt, and then the 2 freshman backs today have, the games they've had, so that's why they're pulled. And then you're down to Tank Smith. Drew Aller, ain't playing that great. But, I mean, even in garbage time, it is as good as he's supposed to be. It's like, all right, whatever. But I wouldn't mind playing one of the other quarterbacks. Vayu's played in the past. We'll see what his future looks like after this year. Maybe get some playing time, or even Bo Prabula. Because then even if he would play today, you can still redshirt him because they only got 3 more games left. And you got to play in up to 4 to redshirt. You play in that 5th, your redshirt's gone. You can play in up to 4 and still redshirt, but he plays today. I doubt he'd play in the next 2 games, 11 bowl game. Like, you've seen Vayu, why not put Perul in, but, Vayu, Perul as well. Like, yeah, I mean, they'll probably keep Aller in, but I'd be putting another quarterback. I would remember. There's the Maryland Terrapin mascot as well. He's used to the water. Turtles are used to water and under the sand, but waiting for a sunny day. And have you ever seen the rain? And yeah, God damn it. They do put Christian Vayu in at quarterback, but then fumbled the snap as it was high, couldn't control it, and then the fumble, and then Maryland recovers. So if they, capitalize off of this now, well, that ain't his fault. It's the center's fault. The ball is wet because of the rain. They haven't had trouble with it all day yet, but just a high snap from a backup center, I might add, in number 54, Ian Harvey. And then Tank Smith can't get to it, and it's fumbled, and Maryland recovers. So, we'll see if they can capitalize on it. That's a lone turnover today. 6:36 to play, but, Vayu did get in at quarterback one play to turn it over. Wasn't his fault, though, but Maryland going to hand off a couple yards, second and medium, but, you know, Maryland hasn't been shut out since they got shut out by Penn State 3 years ago. I guess there's a trend. That's common to happen. But no, with that being said, this final 6 minutes here is going to be crucial for Penn State if they want to keep this shutout. Defense going to have to make stops and get off the field. Forget the turnover, keep it going. 9 yards, first down, Maryland. However, there is a flag on the play. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here. After the play was over again, another unsportsmanlike conduct on Penn State. That was on number 18, not Omari Evans, though, but Devon Townley Jr. Yep. So, him and Franklin talk about it. 5:50 and counting to play. It's pouring down rain. Jesus Christ. Can't really tell when they, zoom out in the play curves because how good the camera's on nowadays, but they zoom in, you can see it coming down. But, this is what it's been like for good, solid 36 hours at this point now. Just rain, rain, rain. It's the hurricane turned tropical storm Nicole that, came up the coast. And that's how it was late September, early October with that rain in the Northwestern game from Hurricane Ian, Sharknado, Ian, Zeri. And it might snow tomorrow. Because with all this rain, I'm no weatherman. My name ain't Joe fucking Murgo, but it's cooling down and, cold front, and it's, time of the year it can snow. It might snow. So, 3rd and 9 for Maryland here from the 25. And roll out. They got a 4th and 2. Now, do they go for it or are they petty and kick the field goal to, take away the shutout? They'll go for it on 4th and 2. Come on, defense. Come on, D. And then Vayu would be in at quarterback once the offense gets the ball back. Iowa up 21-10 on Wisconsin. UCF Tulane. (31-24), and Alabama will miss in a close one. Got a timeout. So 4th and 2. They were going to go for it. We'll see if they continue to go for it or not, or kick it. And if they kick it, you block that fucker. Yeah, they're not far apart, a couple hours. Yeah. We are Penn State. Yeah, but then, Penn State has players from all over. Bragging rights, yeah. These two are rivals to an extent, depending on who you ask. For Penn State, though, it's Pitt, it's West Virginia, and then, Syracuse and Maryland would be those other schools. Even Rutgers, the old school. 4th and 2, they didn't get it. No, he didn't get that. No way. No chance in hell did he get that first down. Turnover on downs. 1st and 10, Penn State. They take over. They'll run it, run clock, and shutout will hold. It looks like 30-0. He didn't get that. No, he fumbled it actually, and then Penn State recovered. So, regardless of who he got it, he fumbled. Penn State ball, and he's injured too. So, but 1st down, 10, Penn State, 3:40 to play, up 30-0. But then in the Big Ten, it's, Ohio State, Michigan State, Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa. So, I don't even think Maryland's going to get the ball back on offense anyway. So, injured quarterback ain't going to matter. I doubt they put Tulia back in. I don't know if they dressed the third quarterback on the road today or not. But 3:40 to play, I don't think it's going to matter. So Penn State's going to get some revenge on Maryland. They give us the hashtag Honor Us Vets, which is honor United States veterans. So be sure to also use that hashtag when you share on social media. And once again, thank you for your service. But, what's the hospitality story? Okay. Good God. He had to go home and get it. Okay. Handoff to the 21-yard line. Goes 34 at tailback. Tyler Holsworth, who played a little bit, I believe it was last week, yeah. Because Double D, Dominic DeLuca is the other 34 at linebacker. He's played, a lot this year. But the hospitality story is about a fucking laptop power cord. Because somebody for Fox didn't have it, forgot it, quit working, whatever it was. No stores had it. And then the damn manager had one in his family, so he had to run home and get it. Thought it was going to be something about actually, like I said earlier, Tim Brando going deep in the history books for Penn State football. Something, from when he's been at Penn State before. A story that you'd hear wherever, or you wouldn't really hear for that matter. But let's go State, run this clock, get the shutout, and win 30-0 against Maryland. Get to 8-2, go to Rutgers next week. Michigan State at home in 2 weeks and then bowl game. So yeah, that was that. All right. Veyu gonna hand off Holsworth again, about a yard, 2nd down and 9, but who am I? Graduated from Maryland in 1970, worked as a limo driver in New York City, creator of hit TV shows on the NBC and HBO, nominated for 27 primetime Emmys and 3 Golden Globes, is a pretty good writer. I'd have to say Jerry Bruckheimer. Oh, Larry David went to Maryland. No shit. Oh, they only did the Who CSI theme for Who Am I, rather than being executive produced. Okay. Clock's going to wind, and Penn State's going to win it 30-0 against Maryland. I think there was something else I was going to say, but guess not. And if I do remember, I'll tell you later. But, I was just going to say about getting revenge. 3, 2, 1, win. Penn State wins it 30-0 against Maryland today. They get to 8-2, go to Rutgers next week, and get Michigan State in 2 weeks for the Battle Land Grant Trophy. There's James Franklin and Mike Loxley for the post-game handshake. Penn State will go sing the alma mater. But we're going to get right back to where we started from. Penn State with a 30-0 win at Maryland here today. And in the rain, they were able to run the football, play good defense. They sacked Tungalovoa as many times as they did. No turnovers, but a lot of tackle for losses, and they pitched a shutout. So you can't ask for much else. Even with the injuries, it was still next minute mentality. They were able to run the football and, play good D. Had 27 to 30 points scored in the first half. They led 27-0 at halftime. Final score is 30-0. So they only scored 3 in the second half, and it was in the third quarter. They had 3 touchdowns, 1 passing, and then 2 rushing on 4th and 1, both by Nick Singleton, and then 3 field goals. Singleton had 100 yards rushing, I might add, and 30-0 is your final score. But talk about revenge. They lost in 14 when Maryland joined the Big Ten. That was the famous Maryland didn't, shake hands pregame coin toss with Randy Edsel. Of course, he's now since been fired. As he left UConn, went to Maryland, went back to UConn after he got fired from them. Moore is there. They're surprisingly, like I said, 6-5 somehow. UConn Huskies are. But the Terps, they've now lost 2 straight on the road at Wisconsin and at Penn State today. Only putting up 10 points, and they got shut out today. So 10 points in 2 weeks, ain't a good average. Win or loss, they lost both. And they're now 6-4. Penn State gets 8-2 with the 30-0 win. 2 consecutive years they've had a home shutout win. But at 30-0, talk about revenge, talk about payback. 14 they lost at home to Maryland. They won at Maryland in 15, and then had a few straight blowout big wins against the Terps. It's the second time they've shut out Maryland in 4 years. 59-0 and 19 on a Friday night, and 30-0 today. But they lost in 14 and lost in 20. They got revenge last year. Game-sealing pick 6 by Jair Brown. They almost had a couple interceptions today. Just like the Steeler defense on the older Tungalovo quarterback and Tua last month on Sunday Football. Today, the Penn State defense almost had a couple interceptions as well. They did get a fumble late. It didn't matter, so I ain't going to count that. I ain't going to count the Penn State fumble either. So no turnovers, even though there was 1 apiece. And then, lost in 14, lost in 20, but they've continued to own Maryland. The Penn State Lions have. Now officially 42-3-1 all time against Maryland, dating back to when they had first played. They've won 2 in a row and 3 of the last 4, and make it 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, and 22. 7 of the last 9 since Maryland joined the conference. We come back from break. They're going to go to the studio, though, and Penn State wins it 30-0 once again over Maryland. But, no, just, of course, looking ahead, go to Rutgers next week. It's going to be at either noon or 3:30. and then Michigan State 2 weeks, and then bowl game. There's still serious potential to get to 10 wins, let alone 11 wins. And 11-11 the past 2 years, entering this year for Penn State football, to get a 10-11 win season this year, that's going to mean a lot. That's going to be big. So we'll see if they can, get to that point. Like I said, an 8-4, 8-5 campaign at this point is going to be a disappointment. That's losing out, which shouldn't happen, but you just don't know. That's why, of course, the games are in fact played. Rutgers next week. They'll give them trouble early, but I think Penn State will pull away with ease. And then Michigan State, they're playing a little bit better than what they, were at the start of the year. So that game could be tough. So we'll see what happens. About a 3.5-hour game. First quarter was very long, I thought. And then it, sped up and then slowed back down. But then, of course, only 3 points scored the whole entire second half. And it was in the third quarter by Penn State. Up 27-0 at halftime, and then 30-0 your final score. 3 touchdowns, and then, 3 field goals. They did enough early. They did, basically everything early. And then, defense pitched a shutout. So like I said, you can't ask for much else. Pissed off, can't find my defensive stats today. Normally when I don't need them, they're there. Now when I want them and need them, they're not there. Alabama with a big stop. And it looks like the Tide are going to beat the Ole Miss Rebs. They will. Bryce Young out for her knee. So Alabama will bounce back. They could be a potential option for a bowl opponent. We'll see. Let alone Ole Miss for that matter as well. So I still think Lane Kiffin's gone. I do. I've been saying it all year. I think he's a dark horse for Nebraska. Auburn's open up. People saying potentially he goes there, but maybe he stays at Ole Miss for all we know. Who knows? What the fuck? Did anybody else see that Alabama band member? But Alabama wins it. UCF going to beat Tulane. And Iowa on top of Wisconsin as well. Let's see what else has gone final recently. And then now, with it being 7 o'clock, these night games about to kick off. Yeah, Georgia, Mississippi State, Washington, Oregon, Kansas, Texas Tech, Wyoming, Colorado State, Kansas State, Baylor, Florida Atlantic, Florida International, TCU, Texas, North Carolina, Wake Forest, Texas A&M, Auburn, Southern Miss, Coastal Carolina, Florida State, Syracuse, Cal, Oregon State, Stanford, Utah, Arizona, UCLA, Boise State, Nevada, San Jose State, San Diego State, Utah State, Hawaii. Still to come. Games at 3:30 have gone final. Of course, Penn State with a 30-0 win against Maryland. Michigan beat Nebraska 34-3. Alabama officially 30-24 win over Ole Miss. Clemson bounces back as well, 31-16 defeating Louisville. Washington State 28-18 defeating Arizona State. Oklahoma State bounced back, I might add as well, 20-14 win at home. And Stillwater from Boone Pickens over Iowa State. 24-10 your final score with Iowa defeating Wisconsin. And then everything else that we went over earlier from noon officially now final. 3:30 games for the most part done with. Ongoing right now as NC State's up on Boston College in a one-score game with a couple minutes to play. UCF going to win at Tulane, as mentioned. It looks like Marshall defeating App State 28-21. Florida going to beat South Carolina. South Alabama's pitching a shutout over Texas State, but they're in the third quarter, early third quarter. But games have gone final already today. and this week in college football. Penn State defeating Maryland 30-0 is the lone shutout in this, what is it, week 11, 12? 11, going into week 12 next week, and Penn State will be at Rutgers. 2 consecutive years they've had a home shutout. Last year it was 24-0 against Indiana. Today, 30-0 against Maryland. So I'll go eat some turtle soup, and that'll be it. Penn State now 8-2. At Rutgers next week, I'll have live watch-along reactions then, so be sure to tune in. But there's not really much to be said, in a post-game recap today. I mean, just another dominating performance by Penn State. They did basically everything early, and then from mid-third quarter on, everybody not necessarily buried on the depth chart, but from second string down, got playing time, got experience, especially for some guys that are going to be key pieces moving forward. Of course, Drew Aller, Singleton and Katron Allen had good games once again today. The receivers, all of them, quiet game. But with the weather, the way it rained, yesterday, field condition, even though, Beaver Stadium grounds crew always has it top notch anyway with the Kentucky Bluegrass. You knew it was going to be a run first, pass second type of game. And like I said at the start, if Penn State can run the football today, it'll be okay. Well, they were able to run the ball and play good defense, and they were perfectly fine. Because Maryland, not once did they get in field goal range. Okay? That's how bad it was for the Terps today. They had 7 punts, 3 turnover on downs, and now these are, in fact, your final stats and scores. As Penn State also controlled the clock by a good 10 minutes. Had 300 more total yards than Maryland did. As Maryland didn't even have 100 passing, let alone 100 rushing yards today. They had 74 passing and 60 rushing for 134 total. Penn State had 10 more first downs. Both teams had 15 third downs. 4-15, 0 for 3 on fourth down for Maryland then. But Penn State, even though 5 of 15, they were 2 for 2 on fourth down. Both 4th and 1s, and then both ended up being rushing touchdowns for Nick Singleton. So, how you even take those off the board, they have the 1 touchdown and the 3 field goals. They still shut them out at 16-0. But Penn State was able to run the football today, and thank God they were able to. And thank God they've been able to this year compared to years past. The officiating, for God's sakes, 13 total penalties, split it down the middle for each, was piss poor on both sides, I thought. They were letting them play early, but then they started throwing them right before halftime, and then they didn't let up. It's like, it's a penalty call. If it's not, don't let them play. It seemed like they were fucking calling anything and everything for the most part today. But, yeah, not a good day to be a turtle. They're, slow to begin with. Cool creatures, cool animals, but not in football. Especially against a fierce Nittany Lion defense. There's the defensive stats. It took them to the fucking end of the game to upload those. What the hell? All right. So I do have an update on those now. But Maryland, I take that back. They punted 9 total times and then 3 turnover on downs and did not once get in field goal range. Okay? They got past the 50 once or twice, but never in field goal range. And Tulia Tungalevo going to finish 11 of 22, 74 yards passing. Roman Reigns Hemby had 13 carries, 68 yards rushing. Penn State on the flip side. as Christian Veilleux was 1 of 1, 7 yards passing in the fourth quarter in garbage time. Drew Aller was 3 of 6 passing for 18 yards passing. But as Sean Clifford started once again for Penn State today and became the all-time leading passer in Penn State football history, was 12 of 23, 139 yards passing and a touchdown. That to Brenton Strange from 3 yards out to begin the game, go up 7-0. They then went up 21-0 with 2 4th and 1 rushing touchdowns from Nick Singleton from 45 yards and 30 yards out, respectively. 21-0, 3 touchdowns, and then 3 field goals. 24, 27, nothing at halftime, and then 30-0 your final score. As Singleton had 11 carries, 122 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. Katron Allen, the fat man, 16 carries, 73 yards rushing. Holsworth, 14 yards. Clifford had 13 yards. Tank Smith, 13 yards rushing as well. Drew Aller, 1 of 12 on a quarterback keeper. But, receiving wise, they really didn't need to throw the ball today. They did, though, of course, total of 164 yards before Clifford was pulled in favor of Drew Aller, and then Aller, a few drives, Christian Veilleux plays. They dished it out to, it seemed like, everybody that played offensively at receiver, tight end, running back. The offensive line, even with injuries, thought they played pretty damn good. And they've played pretty damn good so far this year, I've thought. They don't get enough credit because they've been able to run the football. Theo Johnson, 3 catches, 44 yards. Brenton Strange, 3 catches, 34 yards in the score. Tinsley had 1 catch, 25 yards before halftime. Liam Clifford, the little red dog, Sean's little brother, a catch for 17 yards. Parker Washington had a catch for 14 yards. Harrison Wallace, 1 of 8. Malik Mega, 1 of 7. Holsworth had a catch for 7 yards. Singleton, catch for 5 yards out of the backfield. Keandre Lambert-Smith had a catch for a yard, as did Katron Allen. So, like I said, about the receiving core, very quiet. But then Penn State defensively. $62 total tackles with 9 tackles for loss. 7 quarterback hurries and as many sacks, I might add, on Maryland. So offensively, they were able to run the football. They went up 21-0 with 3 touchdowns and then 3 field goals, hung on to it, and then the defense pitched a fucking shutout. So like I said, once again, there's not much more you can ask for. And Penn State defeats Maryland today 30-0, as that is in fact your final score. So like I said, there's not really much else to be said today. I'll keep it short and sweet for once. But in the meantime, that'll do it for myself, your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Cohen Luke 96, live right here on YouTube. So once again, thank you for tuning in and watching. Shout out to all our United States veterans from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. Current, former, future United States military members, men and women, thank you for your service this Veterans Day weekend. Hopefully you'll tune back in tomorrow as well for more live watch along reactions live here on YouTube with the NFL. And then next weekend, continuing on with college football, the NFL, and professional wrestling. So be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. As always, links in the description below. Just once again, thank you for tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. And I'll see everybody later as Penn State defeats Maryland today, shutting them out for the second time in 4 years by a final score today of 30-0 in a monsoon. So the Terps, the Maryland Terrapins, the Turtles that they are, the blue and white Penn State Lions took care of business, made them go back out to sea after they, dug a hole or two in the sand and buried some eggs that, well, probably 3 times in 6 years might get shut out again or might lose again to Penn State next year, the year after that, or the year after that, because Penn State has dominated Maryland throughout history. Now officially, as mentioned, 42-3-1 all time against the University of Maryland as Penn State defeats the Terps today, 30-0. So Nicolas Cage's mom in National Treasure 2. What do you say about that? History books you can't change history. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Just once again, thank you for tuning in and listening. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. Penn State wins it today, 30-0. Another shutout at home for the blue and white at Beaver Stadium as they go to Rutgers next week, and then senior day in 2 weeks' time, battle land grant trophy against the Spartans from Michigan State. Of course, before a bowl game at the end of December, early January, and potentially a New Year's Six bid. Like I said, 8-win season at this point at 8-2 to finish 8-4, 8-5, going to be a disappointment. Get to 10 wins, maybe even 11 to cap off 2022. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Once again, thank you for tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Links in the description below. Penn State wins it 30-0 over Maryland today.